into the day with the dawn ringing in my ears. Oh, I tune to my TV show. No better way, I gotta get myself into gear. Let's go. Oh, and I feel good today with my wake up in the morning espresso. I feel good today. It's my feel good breakfast show.
A very good morning to you. This is your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso on S3. Good morning, Ryle.
Good morning, Zoe. I thought I'd put my Italian accent on.
Oh, is that true? I'm the worst when it comes to accents.
Clearly, we are trying an Italiano this morning because we are inspired by Italian cuisine. And I would love to just travel in a time like this. So Italy, it means so much to my heart. Also...
Have you been?
I have been, actually. It's incredible. I was supposed to be there again, but now more than ever, they've got like the fastest sprint in the world right now. So Italy's pumping at the moment, yeah.
Italy's the place to be, and unfortunately, I've never been there, and I'm pretty sure some of you have not been there yet. But we're going to bring you a little bit of Italy to your TV screens through our amazing recipe list. I mean, how does an easy spaghetti bolognese sound? That
or
sounds
maybe
delicious.
even a spiced pulled apart loaf using an Italian coffee.
There we go. Ooh, that sounds delicious. Or how about a one-pot Italian pantry pasta for dinner?
Yeah, that sounds good. The belly's smiling. And last but not least, on that recipe list, we've got a chicken spaghetti to warm up the belly. So much to be inspired by when it comes to Italiano. And I know two other souls that are going to be absolutely inspired for the magic coming through this morning. Let's say hello to the rest of the team.
Buongiorno, buongiorno.
Just how Mama used to make it. Yes, there will be a lot of silliness because we need a little bit of silliness. There's been a lot of like hard talk and heavy topics this week, so we thought we'd lighten the mood and fill the belly. So we want to know from you guys this morning, because everyone kind of has their favorites when it comes to pasta. We want to know from you guys, what is your favorite pasta?
Pasta's so underrated because you can do like a bolognese, you can do lasagna.
Lasagna, really?
It's the layers for me with that white sauce and the cheese and the...
And it must be crispy on top. That's the vibe.
Is it weird that I'm hungry at like 6 o'clock in the morning?
We will feed you, girl. We have got about 9 different pastas on the go.
What is your favorite?
I like a penne because the sauce can get inside it, and then I love that. Like a penne bolognese. Beautiful for me, also like a gnocchi. It's endless. The choices are there. And of course, this morning we'll guide you through as many of them as we possibly can, but we want to hear from you on our social media pages. What is your favorite pasta? And let us know presto, please. It is going to be a fun show. Of course, we will squeeze in some parenting advice and a whole lot of other really cool things in between all the cooking. And first up, bring you up to speed with the latest news here in South Africa and from across the globe.
Thank you, Graham. I'll start with your national headlines. President Cyril Ramaphosa appears before the Zondo Commission today to testify about his time as deputy president under former President Jacob Zuma. Ramaphosa will complete his testimony that began at the end of April this year regarding his tenure as leader of the ANC. He had then conceded that the party had not done enough to tackle state capture. Ramaphosa will also likely face further scrutiny regarding his ANC presidential campaign in 2019. And Jolly Matongo was yesterday officially named Johannesburg's new mayor after a special meeting to fill the post left vacant by Geoff Makubo, who succumbed to COVID-19. Speaking after his uncontested election to the economic hub's highest office, the mayor vowed to crack the whip and act against city officials who slept on the job and frustrated the implementation of the Metro's major service delivery programs. The former finance MMC is expected to announce 10 members of the mayoral committee who will form his municipal cabinet soon. And now we move to news abroad. Ethiopia's prime minister has called on civilians to join the army fighting rebels in the Tigray region. Abiy Ahmed asked, and I quote, all capable Ethiopians to show their patriotism by joining the war raging across the north of the country. Fighting has escalated since June when the rebels led by the Tigray People's Liberation Front recaptured much of Tigray. This came after the federal army had declared a ceasefire. Abiy, a Nobel Peace Prize winner, said the entire country has to join to defeat the rebels. And parents of newborn children in Japan are sending bags of rice, the weight of the same as their infants, to relatives who wish to hug the babies but can't due to the pandemic. Some of the rice bags' designs are shaped like blanket swaddled babies and feature the picture of the child's face. This practice is called dagi kokochi and is also often used at weddings. Japan has extended its state of emergency in several areas as it grapples with its largest spike in COVID-19 cases so far over the last few weeks. And then bringing it closer to home, in days of yore, the call was down to the sea in ships. Now the resounding call is down to the sea onto the bikes. Indeed, water biking on the world's most advanced water bike is a unique ocean activity fun-loving nature lovers are opting for around Simonstown. It's an exciting way to experience the ocean there, famous for its rich marine life and spectacular views. Cape Town water bike ocean adventurers Ross Potgieter says along the way you could encounter playful Cape fur seals and during whale season even have close-up sightings of those magnificent giant mammals. Let's face it, social distancing has never been so exciting and the 1-hour ocean adventure is already extremely popular. And not to worry, the easy, hassle-free water bikes are silent, stable, with no emissions, easy to steer and do not require any balancing. Moreover, a guide boat with knowledgeable crew to guarantee a great experience accompanies you. Ross says no previous experience or skills are required for the true sustainable eco-adventure. Well, on that note, that's where I leave your morning headlines. Here's a first look at your sport with Graham.
Thank you so much. So let's start with rugby, and still lots to keep us excited post the British and Irish Lions tour as we turn to the Rugby Championship. Now, Joseph Dweba will make his Springbok debut in the Rugby Championship match against Argentina at the Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium this coming Saturday. Bok head coach Jacques Nenaba has made 10 changes to his starting team, certainly testing that squad depth, which includes a fresh back line and front row, and then 2 changes to the replacement bench. Captain Siya Kolisi, Eben Etzebeth, Lut Jager, Jasper Visser and Kobus Reinach. They were the only players to retain their place in that starting team from the final test match against the British and Irish Lions. The Rugby Championship match between the Boks and Los Pumas will kick off at 5:05 in the afternoon on Saturday. And staying with rugby news, Springbok loose forward Peter Steph du Toit's season may be over. That was after undergoing shoulder surgery on Monday. 2019 World Player of the Year suffered an injury in the first half of the second test match against the British and Irish Lions. That was after a late tackle by Duan van der Merwe. Bok head coach Jacques Nenaba didn't give a time frame on du Toit's return, but said he would be out for some time. Then big news in the world of football. Argentine international and 6-time Ballon d'Or award winner Lionel Messi has now joined Paris Saint-Germain, and that's on a 2-year deal following his exit, of course, from Barcelona. The 34-year-old said a tearful goodbye to Barca as they were unable to come up with a new deal for the football star under La Liga's fair play rules. So Messi now joins a powerhouse outfit, the likes of former teammate Neymar Jr. and Kylian Mbappe at PSG. They are going to be a force to be reckoned with. And that's where we leave our sport for this hour. Let's set the tone for the rest of the day, get a scope of our weather and some of those temperatures here in SA.
Thank you so much, Steve. We're starting with your international weather news. Now, the European Union yesterday said it was mobilizing one of Europe's biggest ever common firefighting operations, and this is to help Greece and other affected countries. Greek Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis apologized for failures in tackling the wildfires. She said even if they may have done what was humanly possible, in many cases it was not enough. This as firefighters from several European countries are helping Greek teams on the island of Evia to contain wildfires raging near a major town. More than 500 wildfires have been raging across Greece this month, fueled by extreme heat, strong winds and parched vegetation. The wildfires have also proven deadly for migrating storks. Every year the birds head south near Athens to winter in Africa, but now they have turned up in parts of the capital for the first time, apparently confused by the billowing smoke. People in Athens are picking up dead storks from their lawns. A vast expanse of forest in Russia's northeast is also in the grip of wildfires, an emergency that prompted President Vladimir Putin to order reinforcements to the region. And news reports in Algeria speak of dozens of wildfires there and at least 10 deaths in the blazes as well. Then bringing it back home, the Drakensberg is the eastern portion of the Great Escarpment, which encloses the central southern African plateau. Now, the Great Escarpment reaches its greatest elevation, about 2,000 to 3,482 meters within the border region of South Africa and Lesotho. The Drakensberg Escarpment stretches for more than 1,000 kilometers from the Eastern Cape province in the south, then successively forms the border between Lesotho and the Eastern Cape and the border between Lesotho and KwaZulu-Natal province. The area has numerous beautiful hikes to experience, some rivers to swim in, river rafting and kayaking as well. Another site not to be missed in the area are the sand rock paintings, which date back as far as 40,000 to 100,000 years ago. We of course have some of the most beautiful landscapes as well as sunrises in our country, which is yet another reason we love our sunrise features so much. Now, starting us off this morning is Salso Matroos from Gqeberha, who captured this stunning shot of a burnt orange skyline as the sun is busy rising over the city. A little further north up the coast, we have Leslie Johnson from Durban, who shared a little more toned down skyline as the sun rises in the distance. What a cool shot this is. Again, we want to say thank you so much to all of our viewers that take the time to take a great photo and then share it with us on the Expresso Facebook page. We absolutely love seeing how you start your day. And if you haven't shared your sunrise photo with us yet, what are you waiting for? You may just see your picture here next time. But right now, let's have a first look at the temperatures for the day. Starting off with you, Polokwane, do expect a low of 6 today that will peak at 20. If you find yourself in Umbombela, expect a range of 14 to 25. Pretoria for you, it is a low of 8 and a high of 20. Johannesburg ranges from 9 to 18. If you do find yourself in Mahikeng today, expect a range of 8 to 23. For you, Klerksdorp, it is a minimum of 10 and a maximum of 24. Kimberley, sunshine coming your way with a range of 5 to 25. Bloemfontein ranges from 4 to 22. Richards Bay, 15 to 24. And then Pietermaritzburg with a low of 10 and a high of 26. South Africa's Playground Durban showing off today with some sunshine ranging from 17 to 24. Mthatha 627, and then for you East London it is a low of 12 and a high of 24. Cradock can be seen with a low of 2 and a high of 25. Gqeberha for you it is 10 22. George with a low of 9 peaking at 17. And if you do find yourself in the mother city Cape Town today, do expect a low of 9 and a high of 17. Worcester 520, Sutherland 016, and then last but definitely not least, Uppington ranges from 5 to 21. Well, that is where I leave your weather here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show.
It is going to be a spectacular show. Yes, our silly Italian accent will probably come out here and there. But so after yesterday's discussions, which I thought carried us forward, me certainly as a dad, leaps and bounds, we're going to continue with the difficult conversations to have with your kids. We are discussing puberty. Chanel's Mercer is going to be stepping in, and we're going to approach that conversation after the break. Wow.
Very exciting. And then are you going to be whipping up some breakfast for us?
Heading into the kitchen. I don't know if it's breakfast. It's spaghetti bolognese. You can eat it early. You can eat it for lunch or supper. But stay tuned. I'm going to be making it in the kitchen right after this.
Breakfast, it's fun.
Oh, you can make my day.
A promise to the planet to be gentle and treat nature with kindness. So there's always trees to climb, to plant the seeds for a better future. Woolworths, the difference.
It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Oh, welcome back. This is your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso on S3, and you are just in time for probably one of my favorite moments on a Wednesday, is when we look at all these fun animations. Now, how does this sound? When a snail in a French restaurant locks eyes on an attractive sea snail in the establishment's fish tank, he is driven to do anything it takes to be closer to her. Isn't that just romantic? Even if it is to his own detriment.
Now, this is the narrative being explored in the short film Escargot, which was created by third-year students from the animation school in 2009. Let's take a look. I'm not going to be eating escargot anytime soon after watching that. But of course, the growing pains of puberty can be a bit doozy to navigate with our children, and that's why we brought in the big guns for this one.
That's right. We have registered counsellor Shanas Moos in studio to give us tips on how we can help them through it all. That's still coming up on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. But for now, let's head on over into the kitchen.
Yeah, we're in the kitchen, of course, and the theme is Italiano. And of course, Chef Clem is here to show us something special. And don't worry, it is breakfast, it is early, but you can have this meal quite early. You can have it for lunch, you can have it for supper. What are we talking about, though? Let's find out. Now, the late Italian film director Federico Fellini once said that life is a combination of magic and pasta. Now, I couldn't agree more. Definitely sounds like it. And Chef Clem is here to prepare delicious spaghetti bolognese. That's what we're talking about. And he's using his must-have pasta utensils. Clem,
Yeah.
Chef.
So we're making
what's happening?
escargot bolognese.
Okay, I like that. Escargot.
No, sorry. No. Okay, so when it comes to Italian cooking, we know that Woolies is your one-stop shop for everything. When it comes to your pastas, your sauces, your cheeses, everything. But also your kitchen equipment.
Okay.
Let me just talk you through where we're going to start. We'll start off on the stove, and I'm going to brag now, okay? I got the set at home.
I was going to say, these look, is that like a rose gold tint on the inside?
It's got a copper lining on the inside. It's
Wow.
non-stick, but
Okay.
it's got the matte black on the outside. It's just fancy.
You know, this is perfect for guys like me, and I'm sure people at home can relate. If you can't cook so well, at least the pots look good, so the experience and everything else looks amazing. That might distract them from the taste as well. So
Yes.
you're gonna win-win here, right?
I like that. But you're gonna win because this recipe is amazing. Okay, so what I got going is I got my big casserole pot going. That's gonna be for my
Nice.
pasta.
Okay.
And I've got water already boiling. I've added quite a bit of salt to it because it's important. You have to season the water of your pasta. So that's going. Super
Otherwise, you're just
simple.
gonna have some bland old pasta.
We're using some linguine. That's going in. And that's going to do its thing. You don't have to break the pasta now, okay? Don't break the pasta. Let the pasta, like, naturally just fall into the pot. You can do the whole thing where you twist it and let it fall.
I was gonna say that.
I should have done that.
Yeah, I love that chicken. You just...
Should have done that, but don't worry, it's going to get there. That's going to do its thing. Then let's move over to the skillet. Now, skillets are absolutely amazing in the kitchen. They like that one horse in the village that does everything.
They can do, yeah.
Because it goes into the oven, and like both of these are induction, and that's amazing for me because
So you can put these straight in the oven after you've cooked
straight
something,
into the oven.
bake it, grill it, whatever
Absolutely,
you want. Okay.
absolutely, because it doesn't have a long handle on it, doesn't take up
Nice.
space. This is literally the one pan that does everything at home. Okay,
So maybe even if the budget's, let's say, tight this time of the year, you only need one pot.
you just need.
This is all you need.
Yeah,
Set up,
'cause
and this is going to be the one.
It's got
right?
that high enough size so you can make your sauces in there, you can make your soups in there, you can make your curries in there. But it's also not too high that you can't fry an egg in there, you can't sear something. This, gotta love it, gotta love it. And like having a decent casserole pot at home makes all the difference.
Yes.
One that can hold enough liquid. The thing about pasta is the rule is you need enough water in your pot. If you don't have enough water, you end up with gloopy pasta that sticks to each other and
Oh, that makes
that's
sense. Okay.
That's it.
All right.
It's not pasta, that's an impasta. It's
Impasta.
Okay,
I
cool.
like that.
Okay, cool. Next one.
So, is your pasta not supposed to stick to the roof when you throw it up? Is that a good sign or a bad sign?
We've got very high ceilings. I don't know who's going to capture that on the camera. Some pastas do stick, not all of them, not all of them. Okay, so that's going. Garlic went in there. I'm going to add some of my mince. It's going to start browning. You'll notice I'm using a silicone spatula. Number one, because we have non-stick cookware. Number two, silicone spatulas get everything, every little drop of sauce and flavor out of your pan, out of your bowl. Like, especially when you're baking, you're trying to get the last little bit of everything out.
Yeah.
Silicone spatulas bend and move as you need them, so
Kinda
you never
can
have
creep under
any...
if you want to get that burger flip maybe or something
You know,
else as well. I
and
must
because
just
of
say,
silicone-
I would imagine then also the silicone is less abrasive on the steel, which is obviously going to prolong the already long life, I'd imagine, from these pots, but just make it go that much further as well, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, that's going to start browning up. It's smelling amazing
It is
already.
indeed. We are officially cooking in the kitchen. If you want this recipe, people, it's woolworths.co.za where you will get this magic. We're making spaghetti bolognese for breakfast, lunch, supper. Doesn't matter. Good carbs, good protein, good macros, everything you need when it comes to a warm, healthy, hearty meal.
Wow, I like that. Okay, cool.
And
So now-
we are in Italiano as well, of course.
Yes,
Forgot about
yes. Okay, so we're going to come to the sauces in a bit. Let's go back to some more of my kitchen essentials. Spoke about the cookware, spoke about the silicone spatula. Oh, another thing with the cookware, it has a lid.
Oh, okay. All right.
So don't be like fitting dinner plates over the top of the pot, because I know you do that. It actually has a proper fitting lid, which
Nice.
is essential. It's amazing. Then the next thing is, okay, I've cooked some pasta
Is
already.
this also from Woolies?
What are you talking about, the spoon or the collar?
Both of them.
How amazing is this?
like
I mean,
this. It's like a matte black, very classy, very elegant. This is my color at the moment. And
It
it
is,
just
right?
matches wood decals, copper, like you mentioned. It just goes, man. This is a now color.
this is when you want open shelving at home.
Yes.
Because you want to display your cookware. And I
Yes.
love it. Exactly like I said, it's got this matte black finish. Just makes it look so, so amazing. And we matched it with a gun black
Wow.
pasta fork. This is also great because sometimes with certain pasta dishes, you don't want to get all the water off. So what you do is you can feed from here straight into your pan. And it looks like
Oh,
it
and
carries
it keeps
some of the
still
water
got all
through.
that moisture coming through. I like
But
that.
if you're doing any other traditional pasta, you want to strain it off.
Yeah.
Again, because I see this all the time. People take the pot and they're like, kind of like another plate over it, trying to pour it out. Don't do that. Get yourself one of these, and they last for like ever, forever.
And again, I mean, just look at this. You've got two pots, one strainer, or whatever you would call this. What is this called? A strainer?
Yeah.
The strainer. And you could literally do so much with this alone already when it comes to meals. I mean, yes, we're making bolognese, but like you said, stews, curries, fry up, burgers, grill, you name it. You don't actually need that much when it comes to kitchen kitchen utensils,
You need a
right?
few good soldiers
Yeah.
in your kitchen, and with them you can just take over everything. That's what I'm saying. Okay, so
that.
I'm going to test your plating abilities.
Oh,
I'm going to give this
right.
to you. Here's your
Okay.
pasta fork. Here's your plate. I've
This
got
is already
some
done, yeah?
sauce that I've got that's done already. So I'm loving pasta sauces right now because I'm using pasta sauces with pastas, of course, but also like for nachos, and like sometimes you just need a sauce for a stew just to
I
bump it up.
literally had nachos last night,
did?
and one of your tips came through absolutely perfect.
The nature boy had nachos for dinner.
Yeah. We earned it.
Wow.
It was a long weekend, we earned it.
You did. Okay, so I'm gonna go in with some bolognese sauce, and this is the
Alright.
vegan one. And I'm gonna add some tomatoes as well. I like it. So you're going slightly off center, creating some negative space. I like it. It's very artistic.
Yes, I like those. Some tips from Nicole Snelling, of course.
Right,
hope
I like
you
it. Okay, cool. Then we're gonna go in with the diced tomatoes, and they've got herbs in them already, so that's amazing. And I'm being fancy, so I'm gonna add like a third pasta sauce. I'm just being extra today. I'm being so extra, okay?
I mean, when in Italy, you know?
When in Italy. When in Rome. Okay, Neapolitano sauce going in as well, so it's gonna be super, super rich. What I love about this dish is you can make the sauce like a couple of days in advance. And because it's tomato based, we know it's gonna only taste better the next day, the next day, and the next day. So now we're
Just
gonna give
keep
it all
sucking up more of that flavor and more of that good stuff, yeah?
just intensifying. Okay, that's gonna get a good mix. I like what you've done. Like you've gone heavy, you've got more carby than sauce.
Yes.
Because it's about the pasta.
And the pasta, I know, always absorbs all that goodness in the sauce as well. So
Yes.
it's going to last quite long. And I've done a negative off-center because I thought the cutlery and things would eventually go here afterwards and all the other beautiful stuff, you know? Yes. No?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Okay. So I've gone shopping on Daily Difference for all my other essentials, my ingredient essentials. So I've got some grated cheese already done.
Nice.
You can give that a sprinkle.
Yeah,
Then
do
what I've
that.
done is I've also grated some mozzarella ahead of time. A little bit of mozzarella is nice, especially when your your bolognese is still hot, just to give you that nice melt. So my next kitchen essential is a little grater that actually does two things in one.
Okay.
So it grates everything. Then it's got the little holder at the bottom.
Oh, so it collects it as well.
So for parmesan as well, just everything stays at the bottom. So when you're ready to go for it, you can just give it a little sprinkle.
Also, this is so cool. I could just picture myself like wining and dining some beautiful lass on a date, and then, would you like some cheese with that? And
Wow.
a nice young grape.
Wow.
It's quite small. and
Please
nifty
use my
too.
gunmetal pasta fork
Yes.
as well. So it's all about just creating we're spending so much time at home now. So it's time to embrace our kitchens, embrace our homes, and it's surrounding ourselves with kitchen equipment that makes us want to cook. It's like when you want to go to gym, you buy yourself a new pair of trainers, it motivates you to go. It's like when you buy yourself new kitchen equipment, you want to cook.
Yes.
And these are the essentials you need for Italian cooking, and especially pasta dishes. So go out and get it.
So this is like the chef's version of look good, feel good. Act good.
Look
be
good, cook good, feel good.
Italiano. Of course, and just like that, we have a delicious Italian meal prepared by Clem Chef himself. Now, you can shop all these pasta utensils at Woolworths. It's available in-store, online, and on the app. We'll see you later for some more Italiano inspiration from the kitchen. Nice stuff, brother.
Only you can make my day.
Nourish your skin with Ingram's Camphor Cream, enriched with camphor and glycerine. trusted to restore and repair dry skin. Ingram's, your skin, your brave.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. Yes, you are still live with Expresso as we delve into a bit of a family chat right now. It's not quite the birds and the bees talk, but more of a prequel for today's parenting topic. We are talking about navigating puberty and all of the awkwardness that is bound to come with that conversation. I used to be approaching with much trepidation. Now I'm quite excited actually about doing this. Registered counsellor and friend of the show, Chanel's Moores, joins us on the couch to share her thoughts. Because you've been through it all. You've had to do this, man. That's why I love
Three times.
3 times over. Have you gotten better at having the conversation?
Yeah, I've become more, what's the word, zen now when I say it. I keep a straight face and everything, you know. So, yeah.
Because surely that's the thing, is we've got to check our own baggage at the door and we've got to approach it with a young mind. We started the conversation yesterday discussing menstruation with our beautiful girl children. And that obviously, for a dad, shouldn't be something that's awkward, but it is naturally.
Yeah.
Just in the same vein, the birds and the bees, as we call it, or maybe you want to call it the dinosaurs and the monolithic man, whatever you want to call it. It's a thing that is shrouded in mystery, and it really shouldn't be, because it's one of the most natural progressions in life. Why do you think it's so important that we demystify puberty for our children?
Yeah, I think just the term puberty, I think this, you just say it and everyone just starts looking for shelter.
Yeah, I'm hiding
all the
behind
adults,
the plants
that is.
right now.
Yeah, so I mean, and puberty actually is a Latin word. It comes from, it means adulthood. So what does it mean? Your child is now transitioning into adulthood. So it's physical growth, but here's the scary one, and sexual maturity. I think that's what makes all the parents run and hide those words, you know. So we'll delve into that a little bit more.
And undoubtedly, it is going to be one of those difficult conversations to have, but it's something that you want to be prepared to have. Don't wait until the onset before you've started broaching that, and at least have the tone in conversation. So what words do we use? How do we approach the conversation?
So the conversation must start early, like we were having before we started, that at 5 and 6 there's a curiosity about the body. You know, and knowing, and especially if you've got siblings with different body parts, there'll be this, but why doesn't, you know, Jack's going to say, but she doesn't have, and then you must be ready to answer. That's the question for that age, right? And then every few months, every year, there may be a new question. So in the younger years, the child initiates that discussion. But by 8 years old, you need to step in and start talking about the body's changes. Because girls start menstruating as early as 9.
Yeah.
So you can't, on the day, have a discussion. It has to start before then.
Should it be a talk? Because that already feels like it's putting pressure on me, or a continuation of a conversation. Surely you want to have that rhythm, that ability to be able to communicate with your child in place long before you have to deal with any difficult subject matter like this.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I remember my own The Talk given to me by a sister, actually. I've got 2 older sisters. But I always swore I would do that myself. So when my daughter was 8, 9, we started the discussion. So when she's going to kill me when I'm talking about her.
Yeah.
But when the day arrived, she was calm, and her dad said, I expected like fireworks and volcanoes.
Drama, yeah.
And it's because we had spoken about it. There's lots of booklets. Quite a few sanitary companies have like a little bag with different things in, including information booklet.
Little starter kits.
Yeah, which I had kept, and, you know, we went through it. There's lots of books, picture books even, that talk about changes in boys, changes in girls, what's going to happen. So there are so many tools out there that weren't available, you know, when our parents didn't do the talk. So parents need to be proactive about how they go about doing this conversation, this continuous conversation.
I was a young boy who went to boarding school.
Oh,
so
dear.
you can imagine when that talk started.
Peers.
There's all sorts of misinformation and urban legends and all sorts of craziness tied into that. And now we've got the added pressure of social media. If we're not going to have that conversation, they're going to get the information, and maybe not from the source that you can control or you want.
Yeah, I think what's really changed drastically is what is out there on social media and how early kids want to be in puberty already. Before, kids were like, didn't want to get there. Yeah. Now they can't wait to look mature. And
the loss of childhood.
And social media promotes all of that, the makeup, the clothes. So it's actually saying you want to be grown up quickly, because then for girls, boys will like you. So that there is that element of social media that I remember, I didn't know, you have to talk to your kids about that, because they on their own are just pulled into the magneticness of all of that.
I mean, even we are as adults with all of our fully equipped bag of tools, so it's perfectly understandable. We're going to expand on this topic. I think it also becomes a beautiful platform for empowerment, to empower your children with that knowledge of how special their body is and how they can look after themselves, but you want it to be a continued conversation. So if you've got any baggage, check it at the door, because we're going to continue our discussion. We are talking about puberty right now and how you can broach that topic and continue that conversation with your own child.
Great conversation, G and Shanas. Of course, it is still August, and in honor of Women's Month, we have pledged to join and support the MENA Cup Challenge. Now, every day, we will bring you some remarkable stats around period poverty in South Africa and show you how you can help join the cause.
That's right. Did you know that 1 in 3 South African girl learners miss school every month when they are menstruating because they cannot afford menstruation products? And to be blunt, it's just not right. It's extremely unfair, and I'm still surprised that we're in 2021 and that's the case.
It's actually sad to think that this is the reality of so many girls out there. Now, the MENA Foundation is changing the narrative and empowering young girls by providing a practical solution that directly reduces the number of days missed at school. Now, they're giving those who cannot afford sanitary products a MENA. Now, what MENA is a 100% medical grade silicone cup and can last up to 5 years, which I think is just a massive, massive saving and a great platform as well.
That's right. So join the MENA Cup Challenge with us. For the month of August, you can buy a MENA for 150 Rand and get one free. And to top it off, with every purchase, the MENA Foundation will donate a cup to a girl in need. For more information to make a purchase, you can visit MENAcup.com, and this is what it looks like when it arrives. It's beautifully wrapped, as you can see behind myself and Jamie, and inside are all kinds of goodies, including the MENA Cup, which is that comes in different sizes, and just some information for the ladies.
And I'm just reading the back of it here as well, just like the testimonials of women saying, like, this is a game changer. When I have it on, I worry about nothing. So you try it for yourself, get connected with this as well.
Now, of course, when you get down to this side of the studio, we're going to work out. So, ladies and gentlemen, for everybody at home, get off the couch, get out of bed, get something comfortable on, and come join myself and Jamie Lou, is going to be joining us now, because we're doing something special and we're getting you geared up for Women's Month. And with Wonder Woman as one of the first superhero movies featured in a female lead, the first installment of the film became a box office hit, with actress and model Gal Gadot as the lead Amazonian warrior Diana. Now, Gal achieved her powerful goodness physique with a combination of heavyweight training and bodyweight exercises. Now, this Women's Month, we will be taking you through her Wonder Woman workout. But before we do, let's get one of our own Wonder Womans in here. Jamie Lee Domberg, of course, I can't do this alone.
Absolutely
I know
not.
that you've been training like a warrior woman this month and a few months before this as well.
And eating like a warrior.
Yeah, so this isn't going to be too hard for you because you're well versed in exercising. But we're going to go through the basics nonetheless so that everybody at home can join in on this too. Now, Gal Gadot did something awesome. She trained upper body, lower body splits. She did a combination of isolation and functional training. And today we're going to focus on part 1 of 2. So we're going to do the full Gal Gadot workout today. We're going to start off with the first part of it, which is essentially be doing legs, a little bit of core and some shoulders, right? And the core is not specific, it's just more incorporated into the exercises that we are doing. So she is big on her legs, and this lady pushes weight, Jamie, I'm not gonna lie, but we're gonna just
leg day at all.
we're gonna show you a variation of first exercise called a glute bridge. So we're working the gluteus maximus, one of the biggest muscles on the body, that's on the rear. What you're gonna try to do though, Jamie, is use this chair to support your upper body. All right, so I'm gonna start by getting my lower back, so my glutes are off the chair, my upper back is resting on the chair. You can use your hands kind of just to balance you out a little bit. That's nice. And now you're just sitting with your back and your glutes dipping down to the ground. Now we're going to do a glute bridge, which is really fun, really cool. So again, you can use your elbows to stabilize you. If you've got good core, you can keep your hands up in front of you as well. From here, you want to just simply squeeze those glutes, press them up, hold for 1 second, and then lower straight back down. Beautiful form. Now to make it even harder, Jamie, and you guys at home can do the following. You can lift your left leg up into the air. Now we're trying to use one leg only, and now you're going to do the same thing. Squeeze, hold for 1 second, and then lower it straight back down. Beautiful form. Let's try one more. Hold it up for 1 second, and then straight back down. Let's switch over to the other leg just to show everybody the sake of balance. Again, squeezing all the way up, and then dropping straight back down. Again, if you are struggling with your balance, you can use your shoulders to support your weight. And of course, Jamie, you don't need it at all. Very fine form. The next step to this is adding some weight to it. We won't be doing that now, but you can put a kettlebell, a book, a bag with some weight, or any sort of weight that you do have right over on the pelvic region by the hips, and that's the weight that you're going to be pressing up once again. Beautiful exercise for the glutes.
And don't forget to squeeze at the top.
Yes, always got that squeeze at the top, and then a beautiful exercise for the hamstrings too. Sticking to legs, of course. We're going to do something a little bit interesting. It's a deadlift, but we're using a weight. Normally, everyone has a deadlift idea of, I have to have a bar to do a deadlift. You don't have to worry. Same mechanics apply with any weight. Again, fill up a bag with books, water bottles. It doesn't matter. You don't always need gym equipment. What you do need is good form, and that's going to get you the key to Gal Gadot's workout. So, keeping my legs nice and neutral, my back and spine is never arching over when I bend down. I'm going to do a side view just so that you guys can see what's happening. I reach down for the weight, a very practical movement that we use in every day, picking up the kids' toys as well. You want to use a bit of your legs. You want to keep your back straight. I don't want to be rounding it when I'm bending down. Once I've got it, I'm engaging my glutes, core's engaged, and I'm lifting straight up into the air. Again, squeezing those glutes. You can see a side view for me once again. Weight in between me, lifting straight back up, squeezing those glutes, and you get a nice accentuation in the glutes area. Now, one thing that's important is don't use your legs too much in this exercise, because you are going to be then focusing on the legs as opposed to the low back and the glutes. So again, try and keep the legs from bending too much, have them a little bit stiffer, and then in that bending over, you'll feel more of a stimulation on the hamstring as you bring your glutes back up. Again, for each of these exercises, go for about 12 to 16 reps. It doesn't need to be too heavy. The 16 rep count is going to increase the calorie burning at the same time, which is going to be great in any case. Sticking to legs. Sticking to legs again, of course, and you'll notice we've done like 3 glute activating exercises. This is the third one, and it's called a curtsy squat. So we've got the weight in front of us. This is already increasing tension. It's working my shoulders quite a bit. Now we're going to go for a curtsy squat. What's happening?
Oh, I'm just checking the weight because this is a 12 kg.
You think you were heavier than me?
I was like, no, I thought this is like a 5 kg, and I'm like,
Can
this
you
is
just
burning.
remember, I need to pay attention to the following. When you started with kettlebells with me, you started on a 6 kg. You've literally doubled strength.
I started with a can of beans.
Less than a year, look where you are now, and that's just consistency for you. So, consistently moving through this exercise. Curtsy squat, curtsy lunge. You're basically supporting your weight with one leg, the other one's in the air. Keeping that balance, I'm going to bring that leg around the back, keep it in the air, pushing it for about 45 degrees, and then lowering down. You'll feel a good accentuation and stimulation in that glute, and then switching over to the other side. Same thing again, a good old curtsy, all the way down, all the way up, and you're going to repeat this one for 12 reps in total. To finish it off though, in this stance, what you can do is, firstly, raising the dumbbell in front of you, the weight or whatever is going to work the shoulders, but what you can also do, instead of just repping this out, Gal Gadot will make it more functional, and she'll include this into her curtsy squat. So you go for a curtsy, and then a press. Boom, yeah, and then another curtsy, and then a press. Woo! I'm feeling Gal Gadot out here.
I understand why she looks like that now. That was, and we were just pacing through that, eh? We were not even giving it our all.
That's not the full workout. You want to go for 3 to 4 sets at home, 12 reps to 16 reps in total. Any weight will do, but that will get you warrior-like body shapes like Gal Gadot herself. Stick around, part 2 is coming at you. The rest of the body's going to be worked out, so don't go anywhere. Whew.
Becoming a parent fills you with delight, nerves, and questions. Now, an original South African app has the answers. Whether you're expecting your bundle of joy or raising a preschooler, the Purity Journey Journal app is a breeze to use. Sign up for free and choose from a host of features, including 24/7 medical assistance, expert tips, and milestone tracker. Sign up to the Purity Journey Journal app for whenever you need some guidance along your parenting journey.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Earlier in the show, registered councillor Shanaz Moos shared her thoughts on broaching the topic of puberty with our kids. And we are continuing that conversation right now with Shanaz. I don't want my little babies to grow up, man. I just don't want it to happen, but I can see it with my 4-year-old. It's mind-blowing, his sense of self-awareness, that I know that conversation. In fact, it has started. I think the second that mommy fell pregnant with his sister, we had to actually start talking about from anatomy to what it's going to mean to his life. But it enters a phase when the children start pushing into kind of the tween space where it does become awkward. How do we get past that? How do we let go of our own nonsense and our own baggage as parents so that we don't have to have any awkwardness and can approach this in a positive and a wholesome way?
You know, I think there's a lot of shaming around body and body development. So certain words aren't allowed to be said, and they're actually body parts. So I think first get comfortable using the words that are meant to be used, like we were discussing. I'm not sure if you can say it on air, but okay, they're body parts. But that whole thing, I remember my son in grade 4, the teacher, she chastised him for saying one of the words. He came home upset. So I said, please tell teacher it's a body part, look it up, it's in the dictionary. And that I gave you permission to use it.
Every single human being has one.
So it's about being comfortable with the terminology. And at some point, you're going to have to, if your child's avoiding you, you're going to have a series of conversations. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So there's no avoiding it at all.
How does it look for boys and for girls? I don't mean how does it look, I mean how does the conversation look for boys and for girls?
So, well, the conversation for girls has to start earlier because their puberty sets in about from 8 on.
And emotionally, I think they're probably a little bit better equipped for the conversation earlier?
Permanently, emotionally better equipped. And then for girls, for boys, it's 2 years after that. So if you've got like a boy and a girl, you'll actually see, I've been through, actually I tried to tell my husband, listen here, you the dad have these talks. He was like, I don't need to. So I was thrown in the deep end, which I did more of with the third child, which is my son, because he engages more in the dialogue about those things. I'm so glad they don't watch this program and see any of the stuff I say.
I know, we'll put it on YouTube and they can see it forevermore.
So they'll never Google me on YouTube. So the thing is that you have to have this conversation, and I think it's important to have a conversation with girls about what happens to boys and the other way around. That don't make it only, you only need to know. Like you're having this conversation with your son, what's happening. So he understands, because so many boys wonder, where does the baby come out from? Like, where, So that conversation, which I'm sure you've had a part of that.
We had a C-section. Cha-ching.
Oh, so shortcut, okay. But still, it's still a conversation.
It's gotta come out.
And we assume that as parents, school is covering that topic.
Yeah.
But kids are so immature when teachers try to bring up reproduction or anything that they're too embarrassed to ask the questions, or they make fun. And they don't get any useful content that they need to know about themselves and their own bodies.
What if your child is lagging behind the curve? And every child is completely different. You see it through their development. Even as a toddler, everyone is kind of constantly weighing their child's growth up against another. And we know they'll all get to the same place eventually. But how do you broach it if your child is lagging behind in that critical phase while other children are experiencing it and it's something that's happening to them and not to your child? How do you kind of make them feel okay?
Okay, your first thing would have to take the child to be checked out by a doctor, family doctor, pediatrician, to make sure that there's nothing wrong, there's no medical condition, sometimes just delayed puberty. But the emotional side effects of delayed puberty are terrible for the child, because with boys, all the boys are shooting up. and here comes your little miniature child, the same age, and that affects boys, I don't think girls worry so much about the shortness, they worry about breast development.
Yeah.
That they are still wearing a vest, like a vest from Woolworths, and their friend got their first training bra. So those are the things that you would speak about. You can see how different the conversations are, and that you need to be okay in having that conversation without the shaming part. Like, your time will come. That's a common statement. No, don't worry if you don't have. Your time will come. Not with empathy, oh, I see how all your friends look more mature, and you feel a bit left behind. That would be the correct response.
Okay. Any final words of advice for the parents that have been hiding behind their bougainvilleas throughout this entire conversation?
Yeah. Talking about puberty and sexual maturity doesn't mean you give your child permission to go out and be sexually active. It's about equipping your child with knowing their body and what's going to happen, and that the changes are natural and normal. So if you're not comfortable with it, find someone, a family member, their doctor they're used to, someone they trust and they feel safe with. So I'm not saying you have to have the talk if you really can't, but I'd rather be the one having the talk because I always know where you're at with information.
No, I love that. So you can keep checking in. It should be a regular thing. Parents, say it with me. Penis, 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 vagina, vagina, vagina.
Penis,
we can do
penis,
this.
Penis.
We can have the
All on board.
conversation. It's up to you to help promote a positive self-image when it comes to emotion, when it comes to mentality, and especially when it comes to your child's body. And it starts with just that conversation. Don't build it up into this massive thing that's got to loom above you. Start the conversation today in a safe way that you feel comfortable with.
Oh, Graham, you're such a cool dad. It's so, what an awesome conversation to have had. Well, listen, it's now time for us to treat the whole family to an Italian classic with a chicken twist, and I promise you they will love every single bite.
So, we've had classic fashion from Timby, classic cars, thanks Chad, and we've seen classic hairstyles. And you, Michael? Classic!
A classic range from Clover. Timeless taste.
Made with love by Clover.
Oh, well, listen, when it comes to a classic pasta dish, it is the ultimate comfort food. And as we continue to inspire you with spaghetti 3 ways, our next recipe is a cremel chicken spaghetti dish that is quick and easy to cook. And the one and only person here to show us how to do that is Chef Tumi.
How are you doing, Zoe?
You know what? I'm doing good. I'm so excited because I get to eat pasta for breakfast.
I know, right?
I'm a pasta lover. Please don't get me wrong. I love my pasta. I do enjoy my pasta. But there's something about having pasta the next day that's just so much better, especially for breakfast.
You've got it. You are exactly right. Same here. Leftovers for breakfast are the best thing, and what better dish than pasta? And to start off our delicious pasta, darling, we are using cremel today. We're making a nice chicken pasta. Yeah. And the first step for me would always to make sure that we brown our chicken, because you want that flavor, you want that layering of the flavor there. So we're going to start off browning our chicken here. We're using chicken breast. So the lovely thing about pasta dishes like this is that you get to cook your chicken very quickly. You don't have to slave over the stove for hours on end. So that's perfect for this dish. And we're going to be adding some ingredients. There's some onions, red peppers, some garlic and parsley that you'll be chopping up for me.
I'll get chopping on that. How fine do you want the garlic?
Look, the thing is, garlic for me is one of those things where you can never go wrong. Too much is good for you, too little is not enough.
You miss out.
I was actually... Nice and chunky is good. You're doing quite well.
Thank you. I actually went grocery shopping and I was looking for a little garlic crusher because I'm tired of having to chop garlic, but now you're making me do that, so it's okay. Now, for those who don't know, the Clover cremel that we are using, it is the only creamer with real milk powder for a creamier taste. And other than tea or coffee, which I'm only used to using cremel for, the Clover cremel can also be used for baking and cooking, like Tumi's about to show us, and it really will bring out that rich and creamy taste of so many dishes. So I'm chopping up your garlic here for you.
You're doing quite well. So to get this started, I've already browned the chicken. You don't really need to cook it too much because we're going to cook it in the liquid of the stock and the cremel that we're going to add. So I'm going to get started with our onions that have been beautifully chopped finely for us. And then I like to go in with our peppers as well, very early as well, because you also want them to release those juices, that sweetness into your dish. You don't want them to be too crunchy, but you want to make sure that they be sauteed and nice and soft. And as you can see, Zoe, I've not added our spices yet, because what I like to do is I like to let the flavors mellow together, and then as I build the layer of flavors and I add all the different ingredients.
Okay.
Sometimes I find that if you add everything at once, you don't have that level of flavor where you can actually pick out a flavor. You're like, actually, I can taste the paprika. Actually, I can taste the garlic. So it's better to layer it up. So I think let me get into it with the garlic then, while you're busy chopping our parsley for us.
So I wanted to know from you, I find that especially when it comes to wanting to eat the pasta the next day, my creamy base pastas, when I warm it up the next morning in the microwave, it's almost like whatever that cream was made out of, it just melts and it's just not the same like it was the night before. What is the best way to reheat your pasta?
It is always to add a little bit more of the cream, because the thing is, the pasta, you have to know, it's very high in fat content. It's very high in butter. So what happens is the more you cook it, the more it turns into butter. You've noticed when you whip it as well. You whip your cream, it turns into butter, so it's just fat. So that's what happens. It cooks down to a point where all you're left with is just the fat. So the whole idea is, if it gets to that point, just add a bit more cream to it, or add some cremel, why not?
There we go.
Because, I mean, you can just enrich it that way.
Okay. Well, I'm very fascinated to see how you're going to incorporate our clover cremel and really just to bring out that creaminess into this chicken pasta that we are whipping up for you this morning. If you're loving what Tumi's doing and you're scrambling trying to figure out what ingredients is she using, don't worry, we've got the recipe available for you, the ingredients list every step of the way. And I'm loving what you're doing there. You just literally sprinkled it over. You're not mixing it into the sauce?
Not at all, because what I want is I wanted to coat the chicken and everything that we're cooking. And you know, like you would do with flour if you're making a roux. You'd normally do that with the flour and then you thicken it up. It actually thickens your sauce and also helps to make sure that everything binds together. So that's what we're doing there. Instead of using flour, we're adding some actual milk flavor to that. Ooh. And then hot stock. Whenever you're going to be making a mixture like this, add the stock hot so that it dissolves the powder that you used, flour, or in this case, we're using our cremel. So it nicely dissolves it, and then it helps to thicken up the sauce. Now, the best thing you can do for yourself is just let this cook.
You leave it. You laat die pot prit. There we go. I love that word in Afrikaans. Just let it simmer.
Obvious, yeah. We just let it simmer, do its thing, and then we're going to add our pasta a little later once it's thickened.
We've got our pasta here, and what I know we are using chicken, but you can swap it out and maybe make a bacon dish. And if you want to go the vegetarian option, a great alternative is also to add some mushrooms. Make it with mushrooms. So you add your pasta in.
Yes, Pale.
See, I'm one of those people where it's okay. I'm one of those people where I put the pasta in the bowl first and then scoop the sauce or the product on top. I'm that person.
I like it this way because you also cook your pasta al dente, and then as it reduces, it fully cooks your pasta, and then it reduces the sauce.
Oh,
perfect.
Well, listen, I have to take full advantage of the fact that I get to taste the pasta for breakfast. This recipe is available for you on expressoshow.com. Chef Tumi, this is amazing. I have to give it a little bit of a swirl and a twirl and a go. There we go. Let me just quickly get a little bite in there. I get the different layers. There is a creaminess to it. I didn't grab any of the chicken just yet, but if you missed any of the steps, we have a quick recap for you. Oh, this is good.
Welcome back. You are still live with Expresso. First hour done and dusted. We're about to enter the second, and we're going to introduce you to a superstar vocalist. She is phenomenal. Beulah Elland is in the house. We're going to have a little chat and then let her do what she does, which is going to blow your mind.
Oh, it definitely will. And then we'll also be blowing your mind in the kitchen. We have more Italian-inspired recipes coming your way on your feel-good breakfast show. But the time is now 7:01. Let's catch up with Jamie Lee Domberg on your morning headlines.
Thank you so much, guys. Starting with your national news. Now, a team of some 100 firefighters has left for Canada last night as part of the Department of Forestry, Fisheries and the Environment's Working on Fire program. They will assist in battling blazes raging across Manitoba province. The Working on Fire program provides work opportunities, skills training, as well as personal development to communities across South Africa. This latest deployment is in response to a request for assistance from the Canadian Interagency Forest Fire Centre in terms of a working agreement between South Africa and Canada. And then staying with your local news, President Cyril Ramaphosa appears before the Zondo Commission today to testify about his time as Deputy President under former President Jacob Zuma. Ramaphosa will complete his testimony that began at the end of April this year regarding his tenure as leader of the ANC. He had then conceded that the party had not done enough to tackle state capture. Ramaphosa will also likely face further scrutiny regarding his ANC presidential campaign in 2017. Then looking to news further abroad, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo yesterday resigned after an inquiry found that he sexually harassed multiple women. The independent investigation by the New York Attorney General's office found that 63-year-old Cuomo sexually harassed 11 women, including state employees. As he announced his resignation, Cuomo continued to deny allegations of sexual harassment and said the allegations were politically motivated. His resignation comes just a year after his public profile reached enormous heights in the early days of the pandemic as millions of Americans tuned in daily to his no-nonsense TV briefings. And then staying with the international news, Ethiopia's Prime Minister has called on civilians to join the army fighting rebels in the Tigray region. Abiy Ahmed asked, and I quote, all capable Ethiopians to show their patriotism by joining the war raging across the north of the country. Fighting has escalated since June when the rebels, led by the Tigray's People's Liberation Front, recaptured much of Tigray. This came after the federal army had declared a ceasefire. Abiy, a Nobel Peace Prize winner, said the entire country had to join in to defeat the rebels. And then finally, for more than 17 months, millions of viewers worldwide have been fascinated by China's roaming elephant herd, which eloped on a puzzling and seemingly aimless migration northeast from their reserve near the Chinese-Thailand border. Latest news is that they've decided to head back home, and by Sunday night, the herd was some 200 kilometers from their reserve. Global media has afforded them huge coverage, tracking their amazing journey and keeping the world informed. A task force of more than 25,000 police officers and forest fighters using multiple vehicles and 14 drones monitor the jumbo travelers as they trundle home. In populated areas, people were temporarily relocated and power was cut to prevent the giants from electrocuting themselves or starting fires. Everyone was also sent indoors, then bananas and other food was deposited on the other side of towns to persuade the wandering behemoths to cross. Now, with fewer than 300 wild Asian elephants left in China, the protected creatures are truly receiving A-level state protection, and it is, of course, giving us a lot of entertainment as well. Well, I'll be back on the top of the hour with more news headlines. Here is G with another look at the sports.
From elephants to slightly smaller wildlife now, we start with rugby. Joseph Dweba will make his Springbok debut in the Rugby Championship match against Argentina. That's playing out at the Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium this Saturday. Bok head coach Jacques Nenaba clearly testing the depth of his squad. He's made 10 changes to his starting team. That includes a fresh backline and front row, and then 2 changes on the bench. Captain Sekalisi, Eben Etzebeth, Lut Yacha, Jasper Visser and Kobus Reinach, the only players, in fact, to retain their place in the starting team from
on that final test match against the British and Irish Lions. The Rugby Championship match between the Boks and Los Pumas that kicks off at 5:05 on Saturday afternoon. And staying with rugby news, Springbok loose forward Peter Steph du Toit's season may be over. That after undergoing shoulder surgery on Monday, the 2019 World Player of the Year suffered an injury in the first half of the second test match against the British and Irish Lions. That was after a late tackle by Duane van der Merwe. Now, Bok head coach Jacques Nienaber didn't give a time frame on du Toit's return, but said he would be out for some time. And then finally, on to very big footballing news. Argentine international and six-time Ballon d'Or winner Lionel Messi has joined Paris Saint-Germain on a 2-year deal following his exit from Barcelona. The 34-year-old said a tearful goodbye to Barca as they were unable to come up with a new deal for the football star under La Liga's fair play rules. So Messi joins the likes of former teammates Neymar Jr. and Kylian Mbappe at PSG. It's going to be a force to be reckoned with. We'll touch on those headlines again at 8 o'clock. Right now, let's see what the weather has in store.
Oh, thank you, Graham. Well, we're asking the question, is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's in fact a balloon. In fact, it is the world's biggest balloon, the size of a soccer stadium. And this balloon is going to be sent to the edge of space to study how stars form. The instrument, named a super pressure balloon-borne imaging telescope, or SuperBit for short, will fly above 99.5% of Earth's atmosphere next April and will carry a wide-field telescope to rival Hubble, but at a fraction of the cost. The British scientists behind the ambitious project say SuperBit will study dark matter, the invisible glue that makes up 80% of all the stuff in the universe, which astronomers map by the way it bends rays of light. And that is in a technique known as the gravitational lensing. A collaboration between NASA, the Canadian Space Agency, Durham, Toronto, and Princeton universities, SuperBit costs $2 million compared to the $5 billion for NASA's Hubble. And the international team are confident SuperBit's high-resolution image will be just as impressive. And while we enjoy experiencing a sunrise from your parts of South Africa, we do have some international viewers that tune in on both YouTube as well as the Africa channel in the US. And this morning we report on the weather for Fairhope in Alabama. A vibrant town that lies on Alabama's Gulf Coast, Fairhope has long been known for its lovely parks and its sweeping panoramic views of Mobile Bay. The eclectic downtown is bursting with art galleries, street artists, as well as boutiques and restaurants. And then we have some of the most beautiful landscapes as well as sunrises in our own country, which is yet another reason we love our sunrise feature. So for your 7 a.m. update, this one was sent in from Lizelle Bergfourie from Pretoria. She captured a photo of the sun rising in the distance, casting a beautiful glow around it between the darker toned clouds. And then last but not least, this breathtaking view of the sun rising over the ocean was sent in by one of our regulars, Louise G. Cherry, while she was on the south coast in KZN. A big thank you to everyone that takes the time to share those gorgeous sunrise photos with us, and please continue to do so on the Expresso Facebook page. We love seeing how you start your day, and if you haven't shared a sunrise photo with us yet, what are you waiting for? It really is easy, and just snap that photo and share it away. Well, let's quickly look at your temperatures. If you're in Polokwane, a low of 6 and a high of 20 can be expected for today. Partly cloudy in Mbombela with a high of 25. Pretoria 8 reaching a high of 20. Johannesburg 9 with a high of 18. Mahikeng 8:23. Klerksdorp 10:24. Sunny in Kimberley, a low of 5, a high of 25. Bloemfontein 4 reaching a high of 22. Richards Bay 15:24, Pietermaritzburg 10:26, sunny in Durban, a low of 17, a high of 24. Mthatha 6 reaching a high of 27, East London 12:24, Cradock sunny reaching a high of 25, Gqeberha 10 with a high of 22. George partly cloudy with a low of 9, a high of 17, Cape Town 9 also reaching a high of 17, sunny in Worcester today with a high of 20, Sutherland starting off with a cool 0 with a high of 16 for today, and Uppington a sunny day ahead with a low of 5, a high of 21 degrees Celsius. Well, that's where I leave your weather for now. A final update coming your way at 8 o'clock.
Thank you so much, Zozo, for that. But it is time to meet our performer for the day, and she is singer Beulah Eland. Born in Beaufort West in the Karoo as the youngest of 9 children, she discovered her talent and passion for singing and music as she took center stage in a youth choir. We're getting to know her before she takes the stage, so please, can we give her a feel-good welcome, everybody? You like Beulah.
Thank you very much.
First of all, thank you even just for the sound checks this morning. You have the most incredible instrument, so that's something that I think our viewers are going to absolutely love, but clearly you've put a lot of time and effort into crafting and honing your talents. Where we spoke about you starting in a youth choir, and so many great vocalists start in that space. What was it about being on a stage, being able to just let those pipes do their thing that got you so excited about music and now has ultimately led to you choosing it as a life path?
First of all, I grew up with lots of siblings, and my mother was a singer. She was always singing in the house, in the kitchen, in the church, and that was where it actually started. But ever since I can remember, I had this dream that I'm singing in front of lots of people, and that was actually, I came out of my shell because music was my escape.
Your mode,
yes,
yeah.
Yes, and I've always been very quiet when I was, you know, a little girl. I didn't have a lot of friends, but music was my thing. When I sing, it was something else. It took me to another level. I can't even explain it. And as I grow older, I discovered that this is what I want to do. This is what I love, and it's my passion. I love it.
Plus, you can't deny a talent like that. You've got to foster that.
100%. And that dream has now become a reality, you performing for so many people out there. I mean, South Africa first met you last year when you entered the competition, a reality competition. You sang your heart out. You got so much exposure on that platform. Tell us about that experience.
You know, someone told me one day that you must just get your name out there. And when that happened, for me, it was huge. And I told myself, this is your moment. You're going to have to make this work. And it was so exciting. It was an amazing platform for me. And one thing that I took out of that is that you must use every opportunity and make it count and give it your best. And that is why I'm here today, because someone has seen me, and yeah, doors open after that. I have to say it was a great experience for me and a wonderful platform as well.
I think Lukman Adams, good connection to have in the music biz as
Yes,
well.
yes.
But I think he needs to be absolutely applauded for what he's done to create that platform. Tragically, you lost your mother last year, and we certainly send you and your family our most heartfelt condolences. I cannot imagine how difficult that must have been. So many artists that we've checked in on with regards to what we've been through over the last year have said that their artistry, their music has literally saved them. What did you lean on during what must have been just such a difficult time?
My mother was my best friend. She was my prayer warrior. She was everything to me. And when I sing, I feel her presence strongly. I miss her every single day, but somehow I know that she's with me all the way. She's with me every single day. And it makes it so much easier for me, especially when I sing some of her songs. And I know that she's proud of me because she was my biggest supporter. She always told me that you are my star. You know, my mother was very old when she had me. So I was a last born, and I was this vibrant young lady. I was always different. I would sit and talk to her like she was my friend, and then she would tell me, did you really just say that to me now? I said, yes, but I can't help it, you're so old. But those are the good memories that I have with my mother, and that is keeping me alive. That's what's driving me.
You can pay tribute every time you sing,
yes,
which is amazing.
And I do, really. It's helping me a lot.
For sure. I'm fighting back the tears just hearing this, but I'm also smiling at the fact that you are so beautiful, and I'm sure your 3 daughters at home is watching. They're smiling, you living out your dream, you know, on your Feel Good Breakfast show. Do you have any message for them watching you now, seeing what you've been through this last year, and now being here and taking center stage and putting yourself first and just using this platform again and using your God-given talent to just encourage people out there?
You know, my father always said these words. as jy in die Here glo, dan is jou pad deur. So I wanna
And he said it with that tone as well.
I want to encourage my children, and I want them to know that with God, everything is possible. And I know that we've been through a lot this past year. I haven't been myself because I was struggling with my mother's loss. And I sometimes forgot that they also, you know, they're also facing this difficult time, but they handled me very well. And I just want to thank them also today for always being there and for supporting me. What I do is to make them proud. I want them to one day to remember me as my mother has been through a lot, but still she became this strong woman, and she reached for a dream, because this is my dream and I love doing this. So yeah.
And the bottom line is, you are doing it.
I am.
Once again, you find yourself on national TV displaying to the world your beautiful, amazing talent, but also the spirit that shines out of you is amazing. So this morning you get to sing for your 3 gorgeous daughters, for your mother, for your father, for your entire family. I can see you are just so proud of, and I have no doubt that they are so proud of you. You are lovely. Thank you so much for bringing this energy into our studio this morning.
Thank you so much, guys.
And the best is yet to come. You're going to get to see Beulah performing on our stage in just a moment, and it is nothing short of inspirational. So you want to stick exactly where you are. We will inspire you this morning.
Only you can make my day. It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Oh, welcome back. It is your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso on S3, and it means it's time for us to talk movies with the one and only JP Sebastian. JP, good morning.
Good morning to you, Zoe. You good?
I am very good, because I'm very excited to see about the movies you brought to the table. Quite interesting. I mean, just looking at the first movie's name, I have to say this is going to be an interesting one. So let's unpack I'm an Electric Lampshade, this documentary.
Yes, ma'am. So these are all trailers that recently dropped that have tickled me, have enticed me, and hopefully will entice you too, or maybe just specific groups of people who might be interested in this kind of thing. I'm an electric lampshade. I'm liable to believe anything under lockdown at this point. The story is of a guy who is 60, and he's just entered retirement after 18 years working in an office. Doug McCorkle is his name. Reliable, loyal worker for the longest time, 18 years in the same office, just doing accounting. I did accounting for like a year in high school, and I aged 60 years. But it's this really strange story of a dude who's totally unassuming. I mean, look at him. He's like the blandest dad-looking guy who's clearly obviously good at what he does.
You're calling him bland.
Not what I want to do.
Most good, most reliable dads are bland. Like, that's a prerequisite. Like, give me 5 more years and I'm going to be this bland. I'm going to be that bald and that pale. But he's tired of all that. Really? And for the longest time, he's aspired to be a pop star. and takes on this sort of persona out of nowhere, blossoms into this Lady Gaga type Dadaist character that's been hidden, that's been pushed down, that's been repressed for all these years. So I really thought this might be interesting, especially during lockdown. I'm pretty sure that there are lots of people, while it's been devastating for a lot of us professionally, jobs, etc., etc., but a lot of us must also be asking, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? Like, am I a TV presenter? Am I an accountant? Am I, you know, whatever? So the 60-year-old guy goes to a drag school in the Philippines where they teach him how to, what's the word? Pure realness. They teach him how to, like, I don't know, rogue, I suppose, and how to walk like a master, how to sing like one as well. He gets the pipes too. I'm an Electric Lampshade is the name of one of his more Dadaist type songs. So yeah, totally like a fascinating sort of coming out story of truly being yourself after years and years that you thought you were something else. It's a very revolutionary and difficult act, I'm sure, for you and me to say. But Doug McCorkle does it in this documentary, which there's no date for just yet in SA. But hey, the more we talk about these things, the more there's a chance that African distributors are like, they want to see that, let's bring it.
Oh, well, that's exciting. You know what? There's something to that story about where you think you're too old to start something new, and he proves it wrong, which is quite exciting. Now, let's move on to our next movie, and forgive me if I'm mispronouncing it. Is it Satoshi Kon?
Perfect, that's just fine. The second part is fine, The Illusionist. So Satoshi Kon, this is a treat just for me. I'm stealing some sort of minutes here for myself, but also for fans of animation and for film in general. I'm not by any stretch of the imagination what they call an otaku. That's a person who sort of like obsessively consumes Japanese animation. If it's on, I enjoy it, and I don't sort of know as much about it as other people. But Satoshi Kon, tell you what, I was sitting in my living room once, my lounge or whatever South Africans call it, whoops, my lounge, black.
And he said
thank you. I speak Combese, Afrikaans, or I don't even know what I'm talking about. Never mind, let's talk about Satoshi Kon. So I'm watching a TV show called Paranoia Agent. First episode I see that this guy directs. And to me, it's just another animation for the longest time until I start to see that it's got this cinematic quality that I've never, ever seen in my life. I'm alone in my lounge, in my sitkamer, and I stand and give a standing ovation to a TV episode. He instantly becomes my favorite director, one of, maybe top 5 of all time. And in this documentary about his life, because good grief, I dislike him for having passed away so soon. 40, he only was how many years he could give us on this planet, and still he overturned Japanese animation, he overturned animation, and he overturned cinema. Everything that you know and love. Remember Inception by Christopher Nolan? Yeah. Remember Black Swan by Darren Aronofsky? Those movies don't get made without Satoshi Kon. They can't even dream up movies like that. Satoshi Kon is the reason. In fact, Darren Aronofsky appears in this documentary and describes him as great as Stanley Kubrick. He's a man who Darren Aronofsky has bought rights to every script that this guy's made, and so Black Swan is basically one of Satoshi Kon's movies. And every other movie subsequent that we see, like in the West, is taking fuel from a great animator like this. If you're into film, if you're into animation, if you want to be an editor one day, you need to be watching Satoshi Kon. He performs miracles, so truly The Illusionist is just the subtitle that this movie deserves. No date in SA just yet.
Oh, well, that is very exciting. JP, I know you're not going anywhere. We have more movies to unpack. I love talking movies with you because your knowledge is just so incredible. That was JP Sebastian bringing us some of the latest movie trailers that have released. He's not going anywhere, but it's time for us to take a quick break with a little bit of fitness.
Wow. Keeping the theme movies, of course, we're still chatting about Gal Gadot. And in round 1, if you missed it, we were doing a lot of leg work, a little bit of core and some shoulders. We're carrying on the shoulder workout, but we're moving our way through to the pecs, the upper body, and the back. Now, Gal Gadot did a killer workout earlier. This one is even worse, but we're going to get away with it. I'll tell you why. So she actually does something crazy just to start off her upper body workout. She starts with bench pressing and pull-ups. Now, pull-ups is not easy. Just to pull up your own body weight alone is quite hard. We don't ever pull up in studio. We'll get there, don't worry. We're going to start upgrading this place, I hope. I've got a workout that is going to do exactly the same thing or stimulate very similar muscles to what the bench press and the pull-ups would do. All right, so again, minimal equipment needed. Mzansi, that's why you can join in for this workout as well. Like we said earlier, grab a book that's loaded full of weight, grab a water bottle, anything else.
Grab your child. Grab your child. Like, if they're sleeping right now, check it.
Feed your child a lot the night before, they're going to get extra weight. I like that. So we're going to start off with something simple. It's a push-up. Okay, so straight in front of our chair, just to start off with. Again, there's often many options to doing this. Jamie's going to do the full push-up. I'm going to do the graded version because she has leveled up, all right? So for Jamie's one, nice neutral spine, the core is engaged. She's stacked underneath the shoulders. Elbows are going back when she's going down, and they're staying nice and close to the body, and she's pressing up. Notice you'll find that she doesn't change her posture in the movement. So her back stays neutral throughout. It doesn't start arching as she starts to press. So get away from this movement when you are pressing and keep yourself supported with your core. Now, one other thing I must make mention of when you're doing a push-up, just to get that extra little vuma and those extra little bit of striations really pumping. When you're pressing, don't just think of pushing up, but also try and squeeze your hands together at the same time. If you had a bar in your hands while you were pressing a bar, the action would almost be like squeezing your hands together with the bar, but the bar doesn't move. So the exact same thing in your push-up. What you'll notice is if you see where my thumbs are, they're pointing towards each other. As I'm going down, I'm actually squeezing and trying to get my thumbs to connect. Obviously, they're not going to do that because I'm on the ground, but this is going to give you an absolute incredible burn on the pecs. How'd that feel?
That gives you the boom that you were talking about.
It's like doing 2 extra reps or an extra session in one just by squeezing together. So that's a great tip. If you don't have a bar at home to do your bench pressing, then that is an absolutely great alternative and also increasing the stimulation. Now, pull-ups again is something that not everybody has at home. We don't all have a pull-up bar or something that we can hang on. Don't worry though, because what pull-ups are doing essentially is working a lot of the lats. It does the core and the shoulders and other parts of the body. But for this, we're going to stimulate the same movement. So we're going to grab our chair again. You have a chair, stool, anything at home. And what you're going to do is rest most of your upper body stacked on the shoulder, right? My legs are sticking further back. You can support your knee by just resting it or pushing it up against the chair or the weight or anything else that you do have. But again, grab your bag, grab your kettlebell, just underneath the shoulder. From this position, I don't want to change anything in terms of my posture, but I'm literally starting a lawnmower, bringing this weight as high up as I can, almost to my chest, and then slowly lowering it down. Now, you might feel a little bit of a pull in the shoulder, pull in the arm. That's a good thing, but you essentially want to repeat this with as heavy a weight as you can for up to 10 reps in total. Now, Gal Gadot focuses on her strength, so she keeps her rep scheme low, and only in the later phase of a workout does she go from a 10 to 16 rep scheme for accessory muscles. So you would have noticed in the workout earlier today, all those compound movements, the pull-ups, the push-ups, the squatting, it's all low rep schemes. But when it comes to the accessory muscles, when she wants to define the triceps, the biceps, the shoulders, she increases her rep scheme. So let's show a great example of accessory muscles right now. We're going to work on the shoulders. We focus on the upper body, so we've done the back and the chest. Now we're going to work the shoulders. We're going to do something called a shrug, and we'll do some lateral raises straight afterwards. But the shrug is nice and simple. Again, you want to make sure that you're engaging these shoulders over here. So don't use your bicep too much and really shrug the shoulders and then lift this up as high as you can, all the way to the chin. A good squeeze on this one, and then lowering it down once again. You're going to feel the front delt really, really getting stimulated over here. Holding it up for 1 second, and then slowly releasing it down. That eccentric load is going to build some Gal Gadot muscles like you cannot believe.
I feel like that's like a CrossFit move as well.
It is a CrossFit move. It's very functional, and once you get the hang of this, you can start lowering your legs and actually start making it more of a compound movement as well, which is going to absolutely shred the curls on your body. To finish off, and this is a hard one, a lateral
As if
raise.
the others were not hard. Okay.
So you essentially want to grip your dumbbell or your weight in front of you. You're going to have your elbows, your arms locked, and essentially from this position, you want to try raise it up towards in line with your face or in line with your eyes, right? So don't move your body, don't rotate or anything. You're keeping nice and, not stagnant. You're nice and solid, good, solid pace, and then lifting it up as high as you can. Ah! It's so heavy, Jamie. And then lowering it down again. Ah!
Mine does not want to move up.
Did you just leave me alone?
It doesn't want to go. Like I'm trying, like mentally it's there.
I told
but
you
like
it's
physically,
such a hard one. So it's really something you want to work towards, and really pushing the weight out is a start. Go as high as you can. If you don't get halfway, that's fine, but try lift it up all the way.
Like that.
Hold it, lower it down. Oh man, Gal Gadot, I'm done with you. That was way too hard. Clearly, that's how you get superwoman muscles. Clearly, we've got work to do as well. So you Mzansi at home, get involved in this workout. You want to go for 4 sets in total. It's the perfect upper body session. And of course, it's Gal Gadot inspired. It's a full body workout. You might even end up looking like this beautiful specimen over here. Thank you so much, Chevy Domberg. That's all we have for you when it comes to Gal Gadot and a beautiful superwoman body. But don't worry, the movie theme is continuing because JP Sebastian is coming through with some more goodies. Oh, I can't breathe. Wow.
I understand why.
Nourish your skin with Ingram's tissue oil and rich body care range for 48-hour rich moisture. Ingram's, your skin, your brave.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for keeping it locked. Time to have a little bit of fun with an interesting conundrum right now. Love, money, and work. The 3 things that consume all of us probably. But what happens when you find love at work and it could cost you your job and your money? Well, today's Would You Rather conundrum is here to get you thinking and choosing. Maybe you've found yourself in that scenario. Guys, I'm probably the worst person to ask because
I just realized that.
You could go my route and end up with 2 kids and just embrace the whole journey, and it could be the best thing that ever happens to you, okay? But luckily, it kind of fitted into the mode of work. If anything, it helped us in our jobs because we had to make an emotional connection, and we did, clearly. But this is a tough one, Zoe.
What's the scenario?
Kind of hit a nerve with you. So here's the scenario. You've met someone you really like at work, but the company policy says employees cannot date. Would you A, date on the sly, or B, not risking it at all, work comes first?
If you asked me this question 5 to 10 years ago, I would have said work comes first, but now I'm willing to risk it.
I love that. I love it.
Now I'm thinking, how do we even know what it's like? I'm going to look at every single other guy.
Back then, I was like, work. Now it's like, you know what? Life is important. You need to live it.
I definitely agree with that. And look, I am the biggest believer in love. And if you find it, if you get an inkling of it, just a whiff of it, chase it with everything you have. The world doesn't matter. With love, you can do anything afterwards. So, gee, you're a perfect example of that,
yeah,
right?
Man.
And
that could be the one.
Stuff the job. If you think, and I'm being important here about my words, not just liking someone, but you really think that this is someone I can pursue, I want them, I love them. I'll date them on the side just to see how things are going, but eventually, stuff the job. Love can conquer anything in my world, so I can do anything after that. If I've got my lover by my side.
Can you date in secret? Could you do that?
Are you dating? Are you dating in secret?
You guys know my face. I will tell everybody my status would change on the Facebook in a relationship, even though we went on one date. I would change it. However, I would secure the bag. I'm at a point in my life now where, like, love will come when it will find me, but if it's gonna mess with my bag, I'm messing with my bag. So I will do it on the sly, like on the DDL. No one's going to know nothing, but money.
I like that. Jamie's going somewhere. She's not letting anything stop her. I love it. Well, we've got some social media comments, right? I always love seeing what Mzansi has.
Please help us here. This is a very difficult
So
one.
Gary Outcome says, date on the DL, on the down low.
DL.
I know there's a rule that the gym staff aren't allowed to fraternize with members, but sometimes they do. Winky face. Do you want to tell us something else, Gary?
How do you say you're dating someone without saying you're dating someone?
Let me just watch on your squat quickly.
Wear matching T-shirts to the gym, like, I'm with her, I'm with him.
Steve, my sister. And then let's take a look at some of the other comments coming through. That one is from Josephine that says, that's how I met my husband back in the 90s.
Yeah.
We worked together. Hashtag Expresso Show SABC3.
See, that's 2 points for G's.
Yeah, man.
You see, it works.
Love will find a way.
My thing is just in terms of, like, if you are going to go for the date in secret, you never know. You could get a different job opportunity and then there's no more that policy clashing, but you've still got the love.
Yeah, man.
Gee, I wanted to ask you, did you know, or was it your intention to date Linz at that point? Or
I
you
knew
like,
before
nah?
we even met. I knew that if I was going to be dancing the rumba with a person like this for 6 weeks...
It's going down.
It's going down. I know myself, and I just... that's why before I did the show, I was like, please just make sure they're not married or something, because I know what's going to... You know yourself, you know. And of course, after we met, I mean, I knew.
So there's nothing on the DL. It was
no, it was in front of 7.5 million people on live TV. There's just no escaping it. But it is an interesting one, and I suppose ultimately it boils down to what your priorities are at the moment. Navigating life, love, money is never simple. But if you're a student about to enter the workforce and need a little bit of extra motivation, some fantastic advice to assist you with your career, then you have to go and check out Unlocked.me's website. They've got unbelievable resources, so you can visit unlocked.me and it's all yours.
Oh, very exciting.
Indulge your desires. Be swept away by the fragrance of dissent. Take the plunge into impulsive spending until you find yourself deeper and deeper, drowning in debt. In this world of temptation, do you want a bank that takes your money or a bank that takes your money seriously?
All right, we promised you an unforgettable performance, and it's on the way. We are being joined by the unbelievably talented singer and wonderful human being, Beulah Erant, as our performer for the morning. And she is kicking it off with a cover of the 2021 single by the legend CeCe Winans called Goodness of God. The stage is yours.
I love you, Lord, for your mercy never fails me. All my days I've been held in your hand. From the moment that I wake up until I lay my head, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. All my life you have been faithful, so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I'm gonna sing of the goodness of God. I'm gonna sing of the goodness of God. I will sing of the goodness of God.
Wow, thank you, my brother. That was beautiful. You made your family proud. I know your mother would be so proud of you right now. Thank you so much for that. You can let us know what you thought of that beautiful performance on our social media pages. Share some love for this woman who's got so much love to give. More performances from Beulah on the way. We're going to take a quick break. When we return, back into the movies.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Oh, I miss having JP Sebastian in studio so that we can air guitar, rock it out. Well, JP, it's good to have you on our screens.
Sorry, that was as you were saying, having me in studio, my face was just like blank, like I just flatlined. I'm sorry. I miss you too.
You short circuit, it's okay. You're allowed to do that. Well, we are here to talk movies. In fact, not just any movies, the latest movie trailers that's been released. Let's unpack the first one, EMA.
Sure, or Emma if you like.
Is that how you would
Argentinian,
say it?
so
Emma.
it's a Latin American name. So what do we know? Hey, oh yeah, I don't know. Well, I know no Latin American slang terms. That was my best attempt. Ole is what I really was trying to say, but that's Spanish.
Is that your
so
dog
I'm
crying
really...
in the background?
Yes, it is. Leo, why are you being a nonsense? He's now patrolling the house because he's wondering who I'm shouting at.
Okay, well, you can use your inside voice and tell me about Emma.
Thank you very much. I'll try and do it as quietly as possible so that we both don't disturb the dog. It's a little dash hunt, so don't worry. There's no danger aside from eating me out of house and home. So, Irma stars Marina de Girolamo. It stars Gael Garcia Bernal, and this is a person who I've stand way too hard on Expresso before because, for real, he is one of the greatest actors we've known. Leo, come here. What are you doing, dog? And the story is, it's interesting to see all these sort of cosmic visuals, the gigantic sun in the background, because there have been a lot of these sort of relationship movies where it's supposed to feel like the world is ending or a star is collapsing, especially after Marriage Story with Scarlett Johansson and Adam Driver and Mother with Jennifer Lawrence, etc., etc. But let's talk about Emma. What's really interesting, come here, dog, if you're going to be useless. Okay, if Expresso wants to see my dog now.
There's your pups. Hello. Oh, now he's happy.
He's also flatlining.
I have a feeling we're not going to talk movies today.
Shame, but I do want to talk about this one. So it's directed by Pablo Larraín. And why that's important is because he directed No, which is an incredible Argentinian film. He has this way of making film feel so real, so lived in the moment as you're watching it. Please do yourself a favor and watch that movie, N.O. And also Jackie, I don't know if you remember, with Natalie Portman, where she plays Jackie Onassis, that got her the Oscar nomination for Best Actress. Pablo Larraín is a great director. There's no dating essay just yet for Emma. But aside from just that, you know that there's also that the Lady Diana movie being made?
Yes.
With Twilight Lady.
Kristen Stewart.
Stewart, not Dunst. Anyway, so dog is confusing me clearly. Pablo Larraín, great director, knows exactly what he's doing, and for a story that's got to do with a relationship falling to pieces because it feels like you can't raise the child. These are honest, difficult questions that we need to ask ourselves, especially anyone who's considering adoption. The story being that the little boy has a problem with pyromania. That makes this young couple feel like they aren't the ones for the job. They return him. Imagine returning an adopted child, the trauma. And then decide by the end of the movie that they're going to save sort of the relationship in a way, and the relationship of the child by rescuing this child from the orphanage. Surely cataclysmic and cosmic consequences abound in Emma. No dating essay, but the more you, me, and Leo talk about it, the more there's a chance that we get to see it in South Africa, because distributors go, hey, that dog is interested in it, let's sell it to him.
Okay, well, Leo needs to stay for this conversation because we're now moving on to the next movie. This one is called Dreams on Fire.
Not much of a dancer himself. But it is very pretty. There's so much of sort of the black neon aesthetic that's going around, and that goes way back. John Wick. That goes back to the new Blade Runner. That goes back to the Birds of Prey. The neon and the black neon aesthetic is really quite in at the moment, especially since it has to do with a sense of excitement and mania all at the same time. These dance moves, by the way, have been done by a lady named Bambi Naka. Do yourselves a favor and YouTube that. Spelled like Bambi, B-A-M-B-I, N-A-K-A. She's one of Japan's best dancers, modern dancers, contemporary dancers. I don't know what the correct term would be, but the story is almost not her life story in a way, but pretty much a generic kind of thing that we're used to. A young girl from the country in a way, or from outside the city, goes to big Tokyo, which I'm sure all of us are missing right now after the Olympics. And there she decides she's going to make her dreams come true. Wants to be a dancer. Her parents don't believe in the idea of the whole thing, but in real life, this lady is supremely talented and such a fascinating style. Do yourselves a favor, like I said, YouTube it. But no dating essay just yet for Dreams on Fire. But we all love dancing movies, don't we? Whether it's Center Stage, whether it's Black Swan, which I spoke about earlier. They're also intense for some reason as well.
They are
and
intense, but dancing's such an expressive movement. Like, it's such a wonderful way to express yourself. Now, JP, it's time for us to say goodbye, but I know we all have our own animal voices. Do you mind saying goodbye like you would say goodbye to your dog?
It's really embarrassing. I usually just make strange words that don't exist in this language. Like, I'm going to embarrass myself, but I look at him in the face and shout.
So cute on screen.
No, I mean, dogs bark at like 5 times louder than what I'm doing right now. So it's usually just made up words like shouting shabu, which I suppose is a type of food, shabu shabu, if I'm not mistaken. But he understands. I think, I don't know, he also looks like he's kind of as flatlined as I was earlier in the segment. Leo, are you there?
He is. He is super duper cute, and we cannot take our eyes off our screens because of Leo.
Fine, I'll leave.
JP, it's so good to have you on our screens. We miss you in studio.
I miss you too.
The next time you come visit, bring Leo along.
Have you got insurance?
Well, that was JP Sebastian and Leo bringing us the latest movie trailers releasing, and we can't wait to see those on either the big screen or on the telly.
I echo those words, Zoe. I do think that the next time JP Sebastian comes back to studio, he does need to bring Leo along, because that cutie pie just made our mornings. Oh my word, what a cutie pie. But let me tell you, we are back in the kitchen, because what's better than a movie without some snacks? And we know that the cold winter mornings are still here, and it calls for a hot cup of coffee with friends and some family. Now add some homemade bread straight from the oven, and you've got the perfect morning feast. Now today we're taking it to the next level with a sweet pull-apart loaf that combines the comforting aroma of coffee. I hope you can smell it. With warm, wintry spices, this bread is made for sharing, literally. Look at that. Like, there's no way one person could eat all of that. And I like that you're agreeing with me, Chef, because that is just next level.
That's the whole idea. We're trying to share here.
Are we sharing? We're doing the thing. People must come in and be like, yes.
Grab a piece.
Get your hands dirty.
Okay, and then we're going to do it with some coffee, right?
100%.
Yeah, so
always coffee.
get
Always
our
some
coffee
coffee.
started, girl.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. And we're going to be using the Ispirazione Roma for this one, which is a blend of 70% Arabica, 30% Robusta. And this is going to complement, I'm seeing what you have, some nice pistachio, the nuts there, definitely the wintry spices that we were speaking about. So we are going to be doing a ristretto for this one, or espresso. Ristretto.
Ristretto, let's do it that way. So I'm also going to get started with those flavors you were talking about, the nice wintry flavors that go together like colleagues that are not supposed to date. So I'm just going to mix that all.
Speaking about that, because I heard you had a lot to say about that conversation. What is your take on that? Should you date someone in the workspace? Do you keep it on the DL or do you secure the bag?
Darling, let me tell you about dating at work, right? So I used to work in a call center, and when I worked in this call center, because the policy velo was not to date, and you were doing things on the DL, you did not know that you were DLing with 6 or 7 other people.
People's DLs.
So I'm just saying, maybe you should stick to company policy and not do anything on the DL. But luckily, this recipe is not on the DL.
Yeah.
It's on the website.
Throws a shade there, right there. I think just sip Steve. At this point, it sips the coffee. I'm going to be using the ristretto. We're going to be using 2 of the ristrettos. But you said first have the first one to go into the mixture so you know how much you want or how you want the liquid to fill. But you are buttering the beautiful roll over here, so yeah.
So we've got some of our dough that's been nicely rolled out here, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to scatter some of our mixture, which is some cinnamon, some sugar, we've got some nuts here, we've got macadamia nuts, we've also got some pistachio, and I'm going to lightly sprinkle some of this on here, and then we're going to cut it apart because we spoke about it being a pull-apart bread, so we want to make sure that we've got these beautiful layers. So I'm doing this first, and if at all it fails, then I'm going to try another method.
You do it. Try again.
So try again.
And I like that you spreading it all over, because when you want to pull apart the loaf, you want to make sure that you have every part of that ingredient in there. So when you're pulling it, you're getting everything.
Correct.
A little bit of pistachio, a little bit of the macadamia nuts, a bit of that sugar, everything good.
Exactly, because what's the use of having a pull-apart bread that doesn't have any flavor in it? So you want to make sure there's enough flavor in each little slice that you're going to have. So what I've done is I've added that mixture of the nuts and our cinnamon sugar here. I do feel like I want to add a bit more cinnamon, actually, because it has to have that cinnamon flavor to pair with that beautiful espresso that you're making for us over there. And then I'm going to start laying this into our loaf tin over here. Let me add some more flavor, girl. I feel like I need more flavor.
Add it. No one's stopping you. No one's watching you. When you feel like you need to stop, you just stop, girl. We trust you.
And then I'm also going to add a bit at the bottom because it's going to caramelize nicely and it's going to create a beautiful crust at the bottom of our bread. And then what we do now is we start laying these babies together, and I'm going to pack them down and create somewhat of a loaf that we're going to press together and lay it cut side up, so that you can actually spread it. Yeah, so that's the pull-apart part.
It's the layers for me, though.
It's the layers, babes. It's the layers. So normally what you would do is you'd brush each one and then add the... I'm one of those lazy chefs in the kitchen. I find the easiest way because I don't want to be... Manual labor is not for me, guys.
No, but you can't. I mean, these days, nothing... You don't want to spend 4 hours on your busy schedule, busy life. I mean, you juggle morning show, afternoon show, everything. So you just want to do things quick.
And this is it for me. You want to do hard work, I find easy ways to do all the hard work. That's why they say don't find the hardworking people, find the people that find a easy way out. And this is our pull-apart bread, darling. It's going to bake. I like to bake my bread at least for an hour, all right? So get it nice and golden brown. In fact, I can brush it a bit with some of this butter because you also want that beautiful golden crust at the top. And then, darling, you can actually get started with our
I was wondering, because I was about to drink this now. I was like, can I have the coffee? Because when are we using the coffee? What is my steps? I know you always make me work when I come into the kitchen.
Yes, girls. Go whisking again with that coffee, that cream cheese, and the icing sugar, because what you're going to do is you're going to create the flavor on top with our frosting there. So you can just mix all of that together.
Ispirazione Roma going in there. We're using 25 mils. If you want more, you can definitely add that in. We'll check afterwards.
Sugar?
Some icing sugar.
Correct.
That's going in.
Now, that mixture that you're creating is going to be the frosting on our beautiful loaf, as you can see. So you're going to get that nice caramelly color. You just fold it in together. And then I'm also going to add some of that mixture that I've got over here that we're going to just sprinkle on the very top.
I'm going to get maybe another one in there.
While you do that, then let me just finish creaming this together for you. I think you just needed to add your add some elbow grease here, Jamie, because you see, this is how it looks. Yabo.
Okay.
So that coffee. Ooh, can you smell that coffee?
That coffee is beautiful.
I think enough of this because it's such a strong flavor.
Are you sure?
Don't need too much.
Okay.
You know, it's nice and.
But then this one will be for me.
That'll be for you. So I'm going to add a little bit of this onto our cake. Are you giving me the go ahead to do that?
Am I? Yes.
I mean, why not?
Layers
It's all
on
about
layers on
decadence,
layers on
darling.
layers. We can do it.
Let's just keep layering
that mild acidity taste from the Ispirazione aroma will just complement with that pistachios, that macadamia nuts, that cinnamon. What are you trying to do to? Oh,
imagine pulling this
and there's
apart,
more.
getting the coffee. Oh, okay, I'm having this. I'm taking this home. I'm done. This is for me. This is my loaf. This is my pull apart.
Expressoshow.com. All I can say, Expressoshow.com is where you can find the recipe. You can get your hands on all of it. Just
pull it apart.
Pull it apart. That's it.
With every cup, we cultivate some of the finest coffee in the world, celebrating farmers as artists, elevating every coffee moment. Because with every cup, precious coffee preserves the beauty of our world. Nespresso. What else?
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back, you beautiful souls. The middle of the week, we are live right here, opening up on S3. It's Expresso, of course, and we're here with our main singer. Beulah's still in the building, and we're doing something special this time. It's a song by CeCe Winans, and it's called Alabaster Box. Now, this is something you do not want to miss out on, especially after hearing this incredible voice for another time. In studio right now, Beulah, take it away.
The room grew still as she made her way to Jesus. She stumbled through the tears that made her blind. She felt such pain. Some spoke in anger. Her folks whispered, "There's no place here for her kind." Still on she came through the shame that flushed her face, until at last she knelt before his feet. And though she spoke no words, everything she said was heard as she poured her love for the master from her box of alabaster. And I've come to pour my praise on him like oil sin that had me bound. And I spend my days, pour my life without measure into that little treasure box I thought I'd found. Until the day when Jesus came to me and healed my soul with the wonder of his touch. So now I'm giving back to him all the praise is worthy of. I've been forgiven, and that's why I love him so much. I've come to pour my praise on him like oil from Mary's alabaster box. With my head, 'cause you were there the night Jesus found me. You did not feel what I felt when he wrapped his loving arms around me. You don't know the cost of the oil. Oh, you don't know the cost of my praise. You don't know the cost, none of this oil in my alabaster
Wow, I have absolute shivers after that, and I'm so blessed because Mzansi, don't be stressed. We've got one more performance from Beulah Elan coming at you now, but before we get into that, let's find out what's happening in the news with Jamie Domberg. Oh, sorry, before we get into that, so I just wanted to ask you, I didn't know something about this alabaster box.
Alabaster box.
Alabaster box. It's apparently a box in the Bible where perfume gets put in or some special gifts. I'm so stunned with this because it's a beautiful song nonetheless, but I didn't know the riches that it brought, and apparently it's about how you break the box that counts.
Yes.
Never knew this. If you didn't know this as well, Mzansi, then that's more reason to listen to the song once again, of course. Such an important meaning behind it and a pertinent one, but like I promised you, here's Jamie Domberg with the news.
Thank you so much, Ralph. 3 minutes after 8 o'clock, time to have a final look at those news headlines. Starting with your national news. Now, Cape Town International has been named Africa's best airport for the 6th successive year. It also scooped the top prize for being the continent's tidiest and having the best staff. But its global ranking slipped to 33, 10 places down from the 2020 Skytrax World Airport Awards. However, South Africa scored big in the Continental Awards, having 5 airports ranked in the top 10 in Africa. Durban's King Shaka and Johannesburg's OR Tambo were placed 2nd and 3rd respectively, and Gqeberha's Chief David Stuurman International Airport and Bloemfontein's Bram Fischer came in as 9th and 10th best airports in Africa respectively. And then staying with your local news, a team of some 100 firefighters left for Canada last night as part of the Department of Forestry, Fisheries and Environment's Working on Fire program. They will assist in battling blazes raging across Manitoba province. The Working on Fire program provides work opportunities, skills training, as well as personal development to communities across South Africa. This latest deployment is in response to a request for assistance from the Canadian Interagency Forest Fire Centre in terms of working agreement between South Africa and Canada. And then looking to news further abroad, Guinea health officials have confirmed West Africa's first case of Marburg, a highly infectious disease in the same family as the virus that causes Ebola. The World Health Organization immediately reacted and said the virus needed to be stopped in its tracks as it had the potential to, and I quote, spread far and wide. Marburg virus disease is transmitted to people from fruit, bats, and spreads between humans through transmission of bodily fluids. It is a severe, often fatal illness for which no treatment yet exists. And then New York Governor Andrew Cuomo yesterday resigned after an inquiry found that he sexually harassed multiple women. The independent investigation by the New York Attorney General's office found that 63-year-old Cuomo sexually harassed 11 women, including state employees. As he announced his resignation, Cuomo continued to deny allegations of sexual harassment and said the allegations were politically motivated. His resignation comes just a year after his public profile reached enormous heights in the early days of the pandemic as millions of Americans tuned in daily to his no-nonsense TV briefings. And then in days of yore, the call was down to the sea in ships. Now the resounding call is down to the sea, onto the bikes. Indeed, water biking on the world's most advanced water bike is a unique ocean activity fun-loving nature lovers are opting for around Simonstown. It's an exciting way to experience the ocean there, famous for its rich marine life and spectacular views. Cape Town water bike ocean adventurers Ross Potgieter says along the way you could encounter playful Cape fur seals as well as during whale season even have close-up sightings of those magnificent giant mammals. Now let's face it, social distancing has never been so exciting. The 1-hour ocean adventure is already extremely popular. And not to worry, the easy hassle-free water bikes are silent, stable with no emissions, easy to steer and do not require balancing. Moreover, a guide boat with knowledgeable crew to guarantee you a great experience and accompany you as well. Now Ross says no previous experience or skills are required for this true sustainable eco-adventure and maybe something that we should all try. Well, that is where I leave your news headlines. Here is G with a final look at the sports.
Thank you so much, Jamie. Still plenty to get excited about on the rugby front. Let's start with the impending Rugby Championship. Joseph Dweba will make his Springbok debut in the Rugby Championship match against Argentina at the Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium this coming Saturday. Park head coach Jacques Nienaber, clearly testing the depth of that squad, has made 10 changes to his starting team. That includes a fresh backline, front row and 2 changes to the replacement bench. Captains Siya Kolisi, Eben Etzebeth, Lut Jager, Jasper Visser and Kobus Reinach were the only players, in fact, to retain their place in that starting team from the final test against the British and Irish Lions that, of course, clinched the series for the Boks. The Rugby Championship match between the Boks and Los Pumas will kick off at 5:05 on Saturday afternoon. Then staying with rugby news, Springbok loose forward Peter Steph Tutoy's season may be over after undergoing shoulder surgery on Monday. The 2019 World Player of the Year suffered an injury in the first half of the second test match against the British and Irish Lions after a late tackle by Duan van der Merwe. The Bok head coach Jacques Nienaber didn't give a time frame on Tutoy's return, but said he would be out for some time. And then some massive news in the world of football. You probably have caught wind of this already. Argentine international and 6-time Ballon d'Or award winner Lionel Messi has now officially joined Paris Saint-Germain on a 2-year deal following his exit from Barcelona. The 34-year-old said a tearful goodbye to Barca as they were unable to come up with a new deal for the football star under La Liga's fair play rules. Messi joins the likes of former teammate Neymar Jr. and Kylian Mbappe at PSG, a force to be reckoned with. Well, that should get you excited about the impending La Liga season this starting weekend. But that's done. A wrap of our sport for this morning. Let's get one last take on the weather.
Thanks, G. Well, let's quickly look at some weather-related news. The European Union yesterday said it was mobilizing one of Europe's biggest ever common firefighting operations to help Greece and other affected countries. Greek Prime Minister also apologized for failures in tackling the wildfires. He said even though they may have done what was humanly possible, in many cases it was not enough. This as firefighters from several European countries are helping Greek teams on the island of Evia to contain wildfires raging near a major town. More than 500 wildfires have been raging across Greece this month, fueled by extreme heat, strong winds and parched vegetation. The wildfires have also proven deadly for migrating storks. Every year the birds head south near Athens to winter in Africa, but now they have turned up in parts of the capital for the first time, apparently confused by the billowing smoke. People in Athens are picking up dead storks stalks from their lawns. A vast expanse of forest in Russia's northeast is also in the grip of wildfires, an emergency that prompted President Vladimir Putin to order reinforcements to the region. And news reports in Algeria speaks of dozens of wildfires there and at least 10 deaths in the blazes. Now, while we enjoy experiencing a sunrise from your parts of South Africa, we do have to say good morning and acknowledge our international viewers that tune in on both YouTube and the Africa channel in the US. So this morning we find our way to a little bit more about the Fish River Canyon that's located in Namibia. It is the largest canyon in Africa as well as the second most visited tourist attraction in Namibia. It features a gigantic ravine in a total of 160 kilometers long, up to 27 kilometers wide, and in places almost 550 meters deep. The Fish River Canyon hiking trail is one of the more popular hiking trails in southern Africa. The immense scale and rugged terrain has drawn many visitors from all over the world to experience what hiking or trail running the canyon can offer. If any of our viewers are lucky enough to be in this beautiful region, please do send us some of your pictures that you might have. We would also love to see the views that you get to experience from the Fish River Canyon. And speaking of those views, we do have some of the most beautiful landscapes as well as sunrises in South Africa, which is yet another reason why we love our sunrise features. Now, starting us off this morning was Ceslo Matruas from Gqeberha, who captured this stunning shot of a burnt orange skyline as the sun is busy rising over the city. A little further north up the coast, Leslie Johnson from Durban shared a little more toned down skyline as the sun rises in the distance. That really is a cool shot. Thank you for that. At 7 a.m. we brought you this update by Lizelle Bergfourie from Pretoria, who captured this photo of the sun rising in the distance and also casting a beautiful glow around it between the darker toned clouds. And then last but not least, this breathtaking view of the sun rising over the ocean was by one of our regulars, Louise G. Cherry, while she was on the south coast in KZN. Please continue sharing those gorgeous sunrise adventures and views with us, and you can do so on the Expresso Facebook page because we love showing your talent and also inspiring the rest of South Africa to get up and going. Thank you for that. Now let's look at your temperatures for one last time this Wednesday morning. If you're in Polokwane, a low of 6, a high of 20 is expected for today. Mbombela 14, 25. Pretoria 8, reaching a high of 20. Johannesburg 9 with a high of 18. Mahikeng 8:23, Klerksdorp 10:24, Sunny and Kimberley 5:25, Bloemfontein 4 reaching a high of 22, Richards Bay 15:24, Pietermaritzburg 10 reaching a high of 26, Sunny in Durban 17 is your low, 24 your high. Mthatha 6:27, East London 12:24, Cradock 2 reaching a high of 25. Sunny in Gqeberha 10 is your low, 22 your high for today. George 9 reaching a high of 17. Cape Town 9 with a high of 17 for today. If you're in Worcester, a sunny day ahead with a high of 20. Sutherland 0 reaching a high of 16, and a sunny day in Uppington, a low of 5, a high of 21 degrees Celsius. Well, that's where I leave your weather on your Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Thank you so much, Zoe, for that weather update. Listen, I'm still not over the fact that Beulah Eland is here. I mean, that performance was just amazing. She still has another one from Whitney Houston, One Moment in Time, so you want to stick around for that one. I see you quenching it already because you're like...
You needed to refeed after that. The shivers were so real, but we've got more than just Beulah. Of course, her magic is something I'm so looking forward to. But we've still got some good cooking. It's a one-pot pasta coming up with Clem, as well as the culinary hotline. Please!
Sing! I'll see you after this.
Anyway.
Nourish your skin with Ingram's for Men, enriched with triple glycerine. For 48-hour moisture and no stickiness. Ingram's, your skin, your brave.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. It is your feel-good breakfast show, Expresso. We're in the final hour and you're just in time because we've been whipping up the most delicious recipes. And this one that we're about to do is a particular kind of satisfaction that comes from cooking out of a well-stocked pantry. And this recipe is case in point. It is a one-pot Italian pantry pasta dinner. It is a mouthful because it's going to be a mouthful. And Chef Clem is here to help us put it all together. I had pasta for breakfast.
I mean, it's a pasta day. Did we plan this?
I've been nibbling on every dish that's been made, so I'm excited to try this one.
This one's really cool because it is properly a one-pan pasta dish. So it starts off with garlic, as every good Italian recipe does.
Yeah.
And my oil is still cold, and I've just sliced the garlic.
I was about to say, your garlic looks quite chunky there.
You don't have to chop it super fine, especially if you're going to be simmering the garlic. It's going to go soft and delicious and become sweet when you actually eat it. So the garlic goes in there. And I always add my garlic to a cold pan.
Really?
Because it infuses the oil with more garlic flavor than when you add it straight into hot oil.
See, I always do that, and that's probably the mistake I've been making.
It's not a mistake. It's fine. It's just a little hack that I found works really well to flavor the oil. Because even if you want to make garlic oil, you add your garlic to the oil cold, and then you bring it up to simmer. When you strain it off, that garlic oil is just so delicious. You drizzle that over ice cream. Just joking.
No, you
over
can't.
everything, and the garlic flavor is just so intense. Okay, so garlic's in. That's going to start doing its thing. Then my little Italian pantry. It's super simple. You always need tomatoes, tin tomatoes, fresh tomatoes. And what I've done is I've gone...
The good ones.
The good ones. And you know what the best thing about it is, besides tomatoes inside the can? The fact that they have these little rings on there, so you don't need to whip out a tin opener. That's so 2018.
2006.
2006, even further. Okay.
It's a long time ago.
A very long time ago. I shopped all my ingredients on the Daily Difference, which is amazing because Woolies have really focused in on the Italian cuisine, and they are the Italian one-stop shop. I mean, if you're making from scratch or if you're looking for a little sneak cheat, the sauces, the pastas, the cheeses, is everything you need to be the most perfect Italian.
And you know what's amazing? I've so often walked into Woolworths, no idea what I feel like cooking for dinner, and then I see their daily deals. I'm like, oh, let me try this. And then I go and get everything that's necessary for that recipe.
I go on the app, and I just go okay, cool, want, and then I just go in and get everything. But yes, Daily Difference is an amazing way to not only save, but also meal prep and meal plan, which I think is on a Wednesday, you're like, what now? What do I do for the rest of the week? That's a good way to get inspired.
And to save.
And to save. Okay, so garlic's sizzling away nicely, so I can turn the heat down a little bit. Now we're gonna go in with the thing about this is no order.
No, okay, so
get
you
it all
can
in the
go
pan. Okay, so I'm gonna go in with our diced tomatoes.
Can I open this one for you?
Yes, please. Diced tomatoes going in. And I'm going to get a little bit of water.
Just to add a little bit of...
Because I don't like wasting. Cannot. Okay. The whole tomatoes going in. And a little bit of... I'm going to do a mixy mix.
Just to add a little bit more moisture.
The thing is, you want to add moisture to this because that's going to be the liquid to take up the pasta, to soak up the pasta. The pasta's going to soak up. Okay, then I got the Napolitan pasta sauce. All the flavors in there already.
Are you someone that add a lot of spice to your, when I say spice, I mean heat, chilies?
All the time, properly.
Go for the bite.
Chili goes in almost everything that we eat at home, and I'm happy that I got... My wife loves chili, because I can't imagine being married to someone who's I don't like hot food.
Oh, no. Won't work.
No.
Won't work in your household.
Sorry to the people that don't like spice at home. I'm not saying it to you. I'm just saying,
He's just saying he won't marry you.
Done. There. So, Italian herbs, okay? It's got all the good stuff in there. It's the essence of Italian food. This goes in there.
Are you very generous with your herbs that you... Okay, you are.
The thing about dried herbs, they are more intense than the fresh herbs, so you can use less, but that's not a lot. That's also going to be it's going to simmer away for a while, so it's perfectly fine. Okay, cool. Next, we're going to go in with some stock. And you can use chicken stock, you can use veg stock, you can use beef stock. Use the stock. Again, because I said you need the liquid in this, so...
Because our pasta is going to absorb all of this, because this is a one-pot dish that we are making. If you are trying to get your hands on this recipe, we have it available for you, the ingredients list, the steps to make it, and you can find that on woolworths.co.za.
So, truth be told, I've never made this dish before. Never, ever, 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 never. I've had it. My wife made it, and she likes adding like a few prawns in there as well, or shrimps. And it actually, because it's a liquid again, it takes up all that flavor, so you get the most amazing like flavor in your pasta. Do you want to bang it? Should we bang it?
Yeah, go for it.
You see?
I feel like we're being judged now. You're not supposed to break the pasta, but that's only if you put it into, you cook it.
Yes,
normally,
yes.
right?
Okay, so first you're going to make a noise. Okay, then the pasta comes out. You're not allowed to break pasta any other time besides now, because it's got to fit in the pan.
I feel like we're being judged, but do what you need to do.
And it works. It really, really works. Okay, break it, add it to the pan.
Do you add the whole packet?
Yeah. There's a lot of people in studio. We've got to feed them all. So, should we add... You know what? Let's just add the whole packet. Yeah,
Add
let's
the
actually
whole
just
packet. We are there pretty much.
Don't waste any. Don't waste any.
Don't waste anything.
And then, again, the liquid is most important. So if it looks like you need more liquid, add it. Get all the pasta in there, because it needs to like be submerged in the liquid.
Yes.
Have I got my... What can I use? I can use the jar to add more water again, because I haven't rinsed this out.
Okay, so you want to have a lot of water in this dish. That is the secret. Liquid, so that the pasta have it to absorb.
Yes. And it does absorb it. And the pasta texture is a little different to when you cook the pasta separately. It goes a little softer, but it still has that al dente touch, but it's just the way that it absorbs all the flavor. It's not absorbing water, it's absorbing all that stock and all that flavor. So that's going to cook. Lid on. Keep an eye on it, and it's literally done in like 15 minutes.
Oh, that's
all you have to do then is finish it off, and they've already done it. They've already finished it off, but I'm going to bring the bowl over now.
With our grated hard cheese, we've got some fresh basil pesto.
Again, all from Daily Difference. There's no such thing as too much cheese. So extra grated cheese goes on.
Yes.
Like that.
It's always my favorite when they come around at the restaurant. They're like, more cheese. I'm like, yes, please.
And they're like, say when, and you just be like...
Stay quiet.
You just stay quiet, and then they've emptied everything out, and you're like, okay, now it's enough. Then, basil pesto. I'm going to use my silicone spatula.
Go for it. You just blob it over. There we go. Oh, what an incredible recipe. Thank you for showing us how quick and easy
You're welcome.
it is. If you want to get your hands on it, remember you can do so at woolworths.co.za. Chef Clem, this looks amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for keeping it locked. Of course, just before the break, we enjoyed what looked like the most amazing pasta with tomato as the base. But here's an interesting fact. Did you know that people had been eating pasta for thousands of years, literally, before anyone ever thought to add tomato sauce? And that was mainly because tomatoes are not native to Europe. They were only introduced into the continent when Spanish explorer Cortez brought tomatoes back from Mexico to Europe back in 1519.
Didn't know that.
Eh?
Now we know. know. But speaking of history, Graham over here set off to tailor blinds and shutters, whose story began in 1959 in Cape Town, to find out more about the importance of history and how 62 years later they've become the leading manufacturers of sophisticated, on-trend and also innovative blinds and shutters in South Africa. Take a look.
They say that history is who we are. It's why we are the way that we are. It's a window into our past that lets us understand our present and predict our future. That's certainly why I find it so compelling. But you might ask, what does a company that produces top quality shutters and blinds have to do with history? Well, apart from the fact that they've been doing it for some 60 years now, it all centers on one really interesting individual. Yes, he knows a thing or two about blinds, but he's also a history buff who has chosen to share this love of humanity and our past with as many people as he can through a very successful podcast. Let's go meet the man. Anthony, always cool to connect with someone who's so emotionally invested in what they do, and clearly you and everyone in this building really are, and especially with an operation that is this big, to see where it all starts is quite an eye-opener for me. Talk me through your operations. What's going on in that massive workshop of yours?
So it's quite deceiving when people driving here. I think it's a small operation, but it's 8,000 square meters we've got under the roof, and none of our products are made standard. Every single product is made to measure. So, but importantly also aesthetically pleasing. We have security applications, reducing energy, all of those factors that come in, and that's what we make here under this roof.
Absolutely tailor-made.
Exactly.
So now, knowing that everything is bespoke, everything is tailor-made, how difficult does that make your operational setup? What do you have to bear in mind, and what challenges do you face when you've got to make everything exactly fit to order? I mean, that's very unforgiving.
You know, the thing, our process has got to be jacked up. It's got to be right, because if we make a mistake, you can't use it, you have to throw that stuff away. Yeah. So that's critical. And we do have challenges, but ultimately, if we have our processes in place, we do a good job.
First 15 minutes that I've been in your building, I don't think I've seen one face that isn't smiling. There's a beautiful energy here. Clearly the people love being here and working here. How do you feel about your workforce, this family that you have around you?
Look, the guys work hard. It's been tough. I mean, I think, as you know, it's the last 2 years have been really, really hard with COVID. And, you know, we're happy that we've got a strong workforce. We're happy we've got work. And everybody's pulling in the right direction. And we hope that they're happy here. And 100%, we're all passionate about our company.
So now we know, in fact, your love of history has now been well publicized online. Where did the love of history begin? What sparked it?
Sure, so it was actually quite simple. I don't think I was particularly good at history at school, but I enjoyed it. But I used to read Asterix comics. That was a lot of fun. And Julius Caesar was always in there. So I thought, well, I like him and his character but is it true? So we want to find out how much of this is true. So I started investigating, and when you talk about Julius Caesar, and he loved Alexander the Great, he fashioned himself around what he was and how he did it. Augustus did the same, even dressed like him. So then I wanted to find out who this Alexander was, and then who his dad was, and who Ptolemy was, who his general, and then you end up with Cleopatra, and you end up with Hannibal, and it's just expanded, and then you end up in England with all the kings and queens of England. It's incredible how it all just took off.
It's one thing then having a kind of a hobby or a sideline passion. It's another thing turning it into what has become an incredibly successful podcast with Gareth Cliff. How did that come about?
We're innovative in our products at Taylor, but we also wanted to make sure that when we advertise, how can we be different? And we want to just get out of the masses and stand out. Yeah. And so we looked at the medium that Gareth's operating in, and we thought this would be an opportunity for us to advertise in some way, but a softer way.
We haven't gone to Rome for a long time, and today we return to Rome. It's more the Eastern Roman Empire than the Western Roman Empire.
Definitely Constantine almost resurrected it, because I think he was more of a military guy. Ultimately, he was brilliant as a soldier. He got the empire back on track in a way before the final demise. It's very, very simple. We condense it into a short amount of time that's just that people can absorb. You don't want it to be too long. And I think both of us have got a good sense of humor, so we can find a lot of things funny, and it's and the people seem to like it.
You tell, yeah.
Yeah. we look at Augustus and him, I think there's no doubt in my mind, and I think in most people's mind, Augustus was the best administrator.
Good, so we don't have to fight.
No, not at all.
Yeah, well, I think that the whole world owes quite a lot more than just Sundays to Constantine the Great. And I can tell that there are some people who you just love talking about, and some people you're like, please.
100%. So I often joke with my family that I'm Julius Caesar reincarnated. And people sometimes think he's a bit strange, but I love that era.
Et tu, Brute.
Exactly. Yeah, I was stabbed 47 times.
It's a cutthroat industry.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Is there a particular person or maybe a moment in time that really inspires you?
Sure, it's a very difficult question because I've been blown away by so many different individuals. If just recently we did Hedy Lamarr and the Austrian lady who was this movie star, but nobody took her seriously, and she's the mother of the internet. So that's just one example that stuck in my mind. But there's so much interconnectedness about our history, and if you just look into it, it's just a tapestry of different stories and how they all meet up.
To echo what Anthony said, history is there to inspire us. Those individuals have proven that we can make our mark. And now seeing what goes on in these four walls, this amazing operation and the incredible staff that are working so hard to create their vision and their innovation, I'm inspired to make my mark in the future as well. I loved it. I'm like all about anecdotal history and those, and I met like the guy. It was so cool connecting with Anthony. I also love those stories of how people have kind of built something up in that way. An amazing company, but just a really cool way of seeing the world. And the best part about that was every person in that building, the smiles on their faces when you can see how people love working for an organization. That is the best endorsement ever. So I've got to say thank you to Anthony and his team. I had the most amazing day.
You got it. Chef Raul, Chef Raul.
I really know what I'm doing here, but I'm just going to go with it, and hopefully I can find out some answers later on, because it's the culinary hotline, bling!
Hi, I was off, everyone was off.
Oh, new visuals, welcome back.
They gave me my own sting.
You got your own sting.
They gave me my own sting. Oh, man.
You've made it. Well,
I have. Wow, can I just call my mom right now? Oh, my word. What?
You made it, man.
I feel so happy.
Yeah.
I feel so happy. I love that. That's so cool.
Got your own sting, and of course, we back with another installment of the Culinary Hotline, bling!
Ting, ting, ting!
Yes, I love this part of the show. Now, we are joined by the one and only Clem Chef in the building, and he's a foodie panel expert. And this morning, he's going to help us out and answer any of our culinary conundrums. So if you have any questions for Chef Clem, for all things kitchen, or you need some help getting out of those sticky food situations, or any winter desserts that you might want to share with us, then come through and call us right now. It's 021-110-555-2. Clem Chef. Whoa, straight into the business. All right, so let's see who's on the line
quick.
first. This is the Culinary Hotline Bling. How may I help you? This is Chef Clem's assistant speaking.
Good morning, Raul. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic. And yourself? Who may I ask is calling?
This is Mike Rock from Boksburg.
Mike Rock from Boksburg. How are you, my friend?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
Wait. Is this Mike Rock that called us in the beginning of lockdown?
Yes.
It is.
Hey! Whoa! Blast from the pause! Oh my goodness!
So what's your conundrum for today, my friend? You see, actually like family. I'm going to call you family, yeah. What's your conundrum for today?
No. So I'm not cooking a lot at the moment, and I've got a small little freezer, and I need to freeze butternut. How do I freeze butternut correctly?
All right, so how do you freeze butternut in Boksburg correctly?
The same way you freeze it in Cape Town, which is actually pretty awesome. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to get your butternut, and you want to prep it as if you would for a dish. So peel your butternut, and veggie peelers are great for doing this. You also get the steel ones, and they're a lot more. They can go through butternut like butter. Okay,
so it's quite a hard skin, right?
It is. There is another trick to actually get the skin off a butternut a lot easier. You pop it in a microwave for a minute, and it softens the skin, and then it peels a lot easier. Okay.
Okay.
But just for the sake of just for now, we're gonna go. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna peel your butter. You see it comes up pretty easily. So I'm gonna fast forward because I really want to show you what it's supposed to look like. So imagine now I've peeled the whole butternut, and everything's looking nice and smooth and no skin on it. Okay.
Yes.
So then we're gonna take the top off, and also very, very important. A sharp knife in the kitchen is not as dangerous as a blunt knife. In fact, a blunt knife is dangerous because you end up using a lot of your body weight to cut through things.
Of course, and you could just
That's when accidents happen. So, get your knife nice and sharp, like you saw Raul earlier. We were sharpening our...
Is that what I was doing?
You were sharpening. You were sharpening the butter knives.
I was trying to just look cool like you.
And it was whoever's going to use that later is going to be mighty impressed. Okay, so through the butternut. And so, think about it. If you normally use butternut, if you just steam it on the microwave, you keep it nice and chunky, nice and big. Don't make it too small. So exactly the same thing. Portion it as if you would. While I'm doing this, I'll ask you to write on there butternut. And let's say Mike Rock. You can write there Mike Rock's butternut. Also very important.
Rock from Boxburg.
Put the date on there. Because we spoke about this, sometimes things live in the freezer and they all start just looking the same and you don't know what's going on. So make sure you write the name on there. Wow, big, bold.
I'm actually doing something really cool here.
Mike, we assumed your surname is spelled R-O-C-K because you rock.
Instead of writing the word Bok, I put a Springbok there. Just for you, Mike.
Nice, nice. So the date goes on there as well, and we know that we're going to say butternut on there. Then what happens is you just properly pop it in your bag, and then it goes into the freezer.
I'm just thinking now, isn't this quite a nifty way to pre-prepare so that when it comes out the fridge, it's already, like you said, you can just chuck it in and get some butternut cubes going.
Absolutely.
Mash it up. And this is something that you commonly do because butternut's huge. So a lot of people are going to want to fry this because they don't get through a whole serving at once, especially if you maybe on your own. I don't know if, Mike, if you've got a partner or not, but if you're cooking for yourself on your own, this is a great option, of course.
Is there a Mrs. Rock?
Mrs. Rock in the building.
Is there a Mrs. Rock?
There's not a Mrs. Rock.
Okay. Not yet.
After you cook up some of these special treats, we're going to get a Mrs. Rock in your life for sure.
There we go. So I like your question, Mike, because...
We'll put a rock on her finger.
You can put a rock on her finger. Oh, man. So if you're from Boxburg, just go on Facebook. Mike is Mike's going to be like, how could you? Go on Facebook, find Mike Rock. And if you want to get to know Mike Rock a little better, it's just like, you could talk about food, butternuts.
Not only filling your belly, but we're filling your heart with love here in the kitchen.
It's what we do. It's what we do. Okay, so I like the fact that you said that butternut's quite big. It takes a lot of space. And people tend to buy butternut. If you go to a farmer's market, you see, amazing butternut, and it's on special, so you buy 5. But then they start going a bit soft. You don't get to use them, and it goes off. Food waste is a huge problem. This is a great way to actually just have supplies in the freezer, and you can use it from frozen. Pop it in the microwave, pop it in the dish, whatever you do, straight into the oven to start roasting, and you're good to go. Nice. And I think with butternut, we're talking about pasta today. If you're gluten intolerant, you can make butternut noodles.
I've seen those, and they taste so good as well, eh?
It's so good for you. Yeah. It's delicious. It's tasty. And butternut you can actually eat raw, especially in the noodle form. What? A little bit of a dressing on there, totally fine. Delicious crunch.
Nice.
So Mike.
Hey, Mike, I think went down.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
Call us back.
So he was on the line. This is Chef Clem's assistant speaking. You've reached the culinary hotline bling. How may I help you? Hello, who may I ask is speaking?
Are you calling to chat to Mike Rock? Do you want to get his number?
Someone's looking for love.
We will get his number for you. And we'll send it your...
I'm hearing softly. I don't know if the viewers can hear this, but it sounds like Tempisa is on the line. I've got a very bad line here. Tempisa, are you still there?
Hey, guys.
Hey, how are you, my friend? It sounds like Tabisa's driving or running and jogging, or he's in the kitchen.
Or flying an airplane. It's like
something happened in his kitchen right now. Tabisa, I don't know if you're still there or not. Struggling to hear you, but luckily, just before you called, it sounded like you were trying to talk about scones. I don't know what the question is, but we have all the ingredients here, so we can just talk about it, because I'm not sure what the actual problem is.
Our team upstairs got the question, and his question was, when you make scones, which is a super popular recipe that we did a while back, and it's just been people are asking for more about it. When you make scones, he asked, can you use melted butter to incorporate it into the dough more easily?
Okay.
The answer is no.
No,
you cannot use melted butter. You have to use chilled butter. And I'm going to explain why in a bit while we demonstrate making it. So the thing about scones is they have a beautiful lift to them, okay, and they are buttery and delicious. That lift comes from the butter that you actually add into the scones. And because you're using chunky cubes of chilled butter, even pop it in the freezer for like a few minutes before you actually use it.
All right.
Just like puff pastry, as it heats up in the oven, the moisture, it melts first of all, and then the moisture expands. It gives you that lift. That's important. If you use melted butter, you're gonna get, it's still gonna probably taste good, but it's not gonna give you that texture. So
let's just see. Timbisa's trying to call, and I think he might still be on the line. I just want to check one more time. Timbisa, are you there? Can you hear us?
Hi guys.
Yes.
He's landed the plane.
Online, bring my friend.
No,
Thank you.
My line was very bad, so I wasn't sure if you guys were like on the line with me.
Now, we got you, brother. We're here for you. It's the Culinary Conundrum. I'm here with Clem Chef, and we're here to answer your questions. So we've just tucked into the scone, but what was the question that you had or the problem that you had for this?
You know, every time I make scones, they never like get fluff like they should. So I don't know if it's because most of the time what I do, I'll just melt butter before when I'm making scones. So I don't know if it's the right way or wrong way to melt the butter before you do it, or must you use cold or melted butter? That's my question.
You are going to possibly, after this, be the best scone maker in Soweto, and I think you should even maybe open up a shop, because Chef Clem's coming through with the answers. You just missed us on the line, but to just fast forward, he said no. It's a no-no when it comes to cubed butter. Used cubed butter. That was step one. And now we are into the mixing of the butter and the flour right now, yeah?
So what I'm doing is I'm just cutting the butter into the flour, making sure I coat the butter in the flour, getting small little pieces of butter. Then I'm going to add, this is self-raising flour, by the way, buttermilk, sugar, that's it. A little bit of salt maybe. And then you just gently knead it, cut out the shapes, goes into the oven, brush it with milk, and it's done.
Yeah, I love this. A 3-ingredient recipe. It was so simple. We had it on the show before. It tasted so good. And you got your answers over there as well, Tembisa. Yeah, that's it. Simple as that. How easy, Chef Clem, in the building.
I know,
Another successful culinary hotline bling coming at you right here from the Expresso.
This is for you. It's your award for the day.
Thank you, kind sir.
You're welcome.
I have a butternut or a butter... Yes. Yeah.
Butter yes.
Butter yes. It's a butter yes in the Culinary Conundrum. Of course, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Another successful installment of the Culinary Hotline Bling.
Ching, ching, ching!
We'll see you on the next one.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back, everybody. This is your Feel Good Breakfast Show, the final few minutes of the show, and we are stringing together our best string-like craft projects with the beautiful DIY princess herself, Zoe Brown, to make sure your surroundings sparkle.
Oh, I had a lot of fun doing this, and it's time to get crafty in this how-to thanks to the Crazy Store and their impressive range of indoor and outdoor LED string lights. projects have come a long way from just glue and paper mache, but what about LED string lights? String lights have a way of adding something charming to an ordinary project, and it really is a fun way to add some magic, and you don't have to wait until the festive season to use string lights. Today, I'm going to show you how we can use the string lights from the Crazy Store with both their indoor and outdoor range and really add some magic to your craft table. String lights can add to your decor without a doubt, but how do you use them? With its ability to be bending and be super duper flexible, it's really easy to wrap it around anything. For example, take this candle. You can wrap the string lights around the candle. It will add an extra glow and some ambiance to any setting. These lights are available in different colors. There's cool white, warm white, and multicolored. And the prices range from R39.99 to R79.99, extremely affordable. You can also fill vases and jars with the Crazy Store's outdoor string lights to really add some ambiance and a whimsical feel to an outdoor party or garden party. To create a statement light fixture, simply wrap your LED lights around a hula hoop and there you go. Since some string lights have a wire cord, these lights are easily modifiable and will sit how you want them. These lights are available in 2 meters, 5 meters, and 10 meter options. Using one of the frames from the Crazy Store, we're going to remove the backing and the glass, wrap our LED lights around the frame, reassemble, and it is the perfect gift to give to a cute friend or a loved one. And look at that, you simply switch it on, add your favorite pick, and you've got the coolest little light frame. And there you have it. There are so many fun ways for you to brighten up your life with the string lights from the Crazy Store. Now, I want to know from you is, what project will you be doing to light up your life? Let me know on social media and include that hashtag #TheCrazyStoreBirthday, and you can win yourself a R500 voucher. T's and C's can be found on our website, that's expressoshow.com, and you better hurry up because the competition closes on the 13th of August at midnight. Good luck.
Sylvia, I have to say, you make everything look so easy. I understand now why you are the DIY princess herself.
Oh, well, thank you for saying that. You know what? You just walk into the Crazy Store and you just get so inspired by all the fun, crafty ideas that you get to do, and it really is not that difficult, but thank you for that.
And you do light up our lives.
Oh, thank you. Well, listen, if you want to get your hands on some fun, crafty ideas, make sure you head on over to the Crazy Store and don't forget to enter that fantastic competition.
Whoever you are, whatever you need, you'll find great value for the whole family at the Crazy Store. So duck into a store near you and be surprised.
Well, don't worry, the ladies are getting crafty, but the lads are doing it too. We're doing it in the kitchen this morning with our Manhattan Rooibos spiced lemon and ginger iced tea. It sounds delicious. Now, ladies, a taste time of note, and you're not going to want to miss out on this one because it looks so good too. And it's made with Rooibos tea extracts, and this morning's delicious Manhattan drink ticks all the boxes. So just put your feet up and enjoy the flavors of this refreshing recipe with the G-Man himself.
Yeah, man. So it is really simple. It's one of those, you just put it all together, let the flavors infuse, and then you enjoy. And obviously, I love the fact that Manhattan iced tea, Rooibos tea is made with, obviously, Rooibos tea extract.
Yes.
Mineral water as well. So it's beautiful, it's fresh, and it really is going to be, I think, the perfect transitional drink as we move into those warmer summer months. We dressed like it today just for this drink. Okay.
And it's a nice chill drink too, because remember, it doesn't have caffeine in it as well. So it's not going to get you all hyped up. It's going to keep you nice and relaxed, chilled, and basking in that summer goodness.
The key here is obviously the spice combination.
Yeah, that's what I'm paying attention to.
A little bit of extra lemon there just to freshen things up.
Keep
obviously,
it zesty.
And the ginger is fantastic. We know how healthy ginger is for you as well. But when it comes to a refreshing drink, there's something about the spice that just kind of ignites the senses and kind of gets you to refresh yourself. So we've got all of our ingredients here, and I'm going to pass them over to you. You're going to pop them into our jug, and then you're going to let them infuse. So we're going to start with our cinnamon sticks.
So we're actually going to be pre-mixing everything first.
Put it all together, and then you want to kind of let it settle before we pour it out.
I'll keep the last last two just for a nice garnish.
Very, very, very clever.
Later.
Then we have got
some ginger.
Some ginger, and we're packing a punch here.
Yeah.
Don't hold back on the ginger because you want that to come
so it's
through.
all going in?
Yeah, no, all of it must go in. And then 1 star anise.
Star anise seed. This is anise seed, right?
Star anise. Anise.
Okay.
Like, say it like it's the woman that you love.
It's still, yeah, anise.
Anise.
It does have that nice licorice sort of a smell and texture to it, which is really good, and I think it's going to balance out those spices quite nicely already.
And then I'm going to pop our lemon slices in
get
there.
some zestiness in.
Then our Manhattan Rooibos iced tea goes into the mix. It really is so refreshing and so good for you, man.
Look at that.
You could have taken the top off.
Should have. Make it more elegant. Oh no!
Very anise.
I got too excited.
I love it. So, and that's actually part of the process, eh? You have to do it like that. You've got to spray some in the air just to celebrate.
The eruption of summer and all the goodnesses here.
And then, of course, we've got some sparkling water, and I would use sparkling mineral water because obviously we've got the mineral water in our Manhattan iced tea, and you don't want to skip it. I mean, this is just one of the amazing flavors that they've got. And then ideally, I would let this sit and infuse for as long as possible. And then just leave it all in there and just keep on kind of decanting and taking a little bit out. And then I'm going to leave it up to you to work on our display element here.
I'm always nervous because, you know, Nicole Snelling's in the studio and she is the stylist of note. And
high standards.
She's always got that judgy eye when we're doing the finishing. Clearly, she's going to judge me on that one as well. But this is the fun part, and I think the family can get involved with this. This is really where it becomes summer. Make the dish your own. Of course, we're putting in, after 10 minutes, this beautiful infusion of ginger, lemon, cinnamon.
And I would like make a really big picture of this and just keep it in your fridge, and whenever you need it, just...
Imagine that, like your guest comes over and visits you, and then you just pour a nice ice-cold one. They're going to love you for it. They're going to open up. It's going to be a beautiful conversation. Let's get the styling on here. Let's see how we do this, G. Never done this before, actually, so don't judge me.
Man, look at you.
Cole should
Suddenly
be proud of it.
it's weird, but like... You've made this drink look really cool and really cool and masculine.
Yeah, man. The lads are showing the ladies how it's done. It's time for the ladies to take off and chill. Obviously, it's Ladies' Month or Women's Month, as we'd like to say. So, you ladies, you deserve this. You earned this. Let the lads take over.
Beautiful.
And prepare something special for you.
Well, cheers to you.
Cheers
if you want to recreate
brother.
this beautiful, refreshing, spiced up mix, you can find this recipe on expressoshow.com. Let's give it a taste.
Of course. Now, there's no need to feel guilty about this midweek delight. Manhattan iced tea is made with mineral water to keep you well hydrated. So get the recipe, like she says, on expressoshow.com.
That's delicious, dude. Give it a taste. Oh.
Yeah. Nice.
Bang a whip.
There is a classic mayonnaise that brings out the traditional French in 3 levels of tanginess. The mild classic, the medium classic, the strong classic. Tangy, the way you love it.
Made with love by Clover.
Here's your Feel Good Breakfast show. You are just in time for our final performance because she has been blowing us away this entire morning with her sensational voice. Beulah Eland, she is here to bring her final performance, and what a one to end off the show. Now, Whitney Houston celebrated her birthday on Women's Day, and this is her hit of the 1988 hit, One Moment in Time. Beulah, the stage is yours.
Thank you. Each day I live, I want to be a day to give the best of me. I'm only one, but not alone. My finest day is yet unknown. I broke my heart for every gain to taste the sweet. I face the pain. I rise and fall. Yet through it all, this much remains. I want one moment in time when I'm more than I thought I could be, when all of my dreams are a heartbeat away, and the answers are all up to me. Give me one moment in time when I'm racing with destiny. Then in that one moment of time, I will feel eternity. I live to be the very best. I want it all, no time for less. I've laid the plans, now lay the chance here in my hands. Give me one moment in time when I'm more than I thought I could be, when all of my dreams are a heartbeat away, and the answers are all up to me. Give me one moment in time when I'm racing with destiny. Then in that one moment of time, I would feel eternity. You're a winner for a lifetime if you seize that one moment in time. Make it shine. One moment in time.
Here's to baking the winter blues away and trying new adventurous recipes to put the spring back in your step. Made with love by Clover.
Another feel-good production.